This is the most epic intro on YouTube. That's what I'm talking about.
And we are live. Welcome to another episode of Damage Per Second Podcast. This is episode 131. 133, sorry. Ooh, I'm the odd number. I keep forgetting that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the support. And yes, Ramon, it is the best intro in the community. Definitely.
Well, no, he said to be accurate, he said it's the most epic intro.
Oh, epic.
On YouTube.
You know why? Because it's actually our gameplay.
We actually showcase us playing games in our intro. It ain't just a bunch of like clips of like a couple of cutscenes that somebody put together.
Facts.
We did this ourselves. Like people be like, I need an intro. Let me go find an intro guy to make me an intro. Hey, intro guy, make me look like I'm a gamer. Make me look like I be out here in these gaming streets, out here doing things out here. Yeah. Put all them games in there that everybody like that I ain't never played. Do that for me. Nah.
Do that for
we
me.
Out here. We played all of that stuff that's in our intro.
We did.
When we update our intro eventually, it's gonna be even more epic with even more stuff that we did in it. because that's how
Facts.
we do things out here on
Out here.
DPS
Shout out.
podcast.
Shout out to the whole voice slow mo slide. Shout out to slow mo. Yo, but yeah, man, great to be here with you guys. It's another Thursday, another great day in the community. A lot of stuff happened over the course of the week, but you already heard his voice, so we're not gonna hold it up. The man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that has a viral video that popped on his channel a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just waiting for the next one. Slow
I
mo back
wouldn't
slap.
call it viral. I mean,
Viral for a person that hasn't uploaded a video in forever.
well, when I drop
Just
that next one, we'll see. We'll see with the next one. I think the next one probably gonna make even more people angry, but we'll see. We'll see how people like that one. But yeah, glad to be here. It's been a long day, but
yes,
finally I get to just sit back with the homie, discuss some games, talk about what I've been playing. It's
yeah,
yeah, it's just I'm just glad to be able to relax at this point. So
yeah. What have you
glad
been
to be here.
playing?
Glad to see the chat. I actually just finished Ravenlock last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Started it and finished it all in one sitting.
Dang, started and finished in one sitting.
Yeah, it's pretty short. It's about I checked my time. I beat it in 4.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Um now Ravenlock is made by a little small indie studio called Coco Cucumber,
Yeah.
which reminds me of like a Nick Jr. TV show or something, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? Um, Coco Cucumber made, remember Echo Generation?
I do.
So Echo Generation is was on Game Pass as well. Both their games have launched in Game Pass, and Echo Generation was like a dark horse sleeper hit for me last year. It was a turn-based RPG. It has like that pixel art kind of look to it, but it's 3D.
Mm-hmm.
It's very subtle. I'm playing on PC, so I play it like 4K, 3,000 frames per second because it's so like kind of basic, right? But it looks good for it, and Ravenlock can kind of continues that on. It's still that pixel art look, but it's not 2D, it's 3D, so that's like their own little flavor to it.
Right. Right.
Now, though, I like Ravenlock, but I don't like Ravenlock as much as I liked Echo Generation. And so what I enjoyed about Echo Generation, that even though the turn-based combat was very basic, I like the fact that they were very stingy on SP, which is like your magic points, like your ability to heal and stuff like that, and healing items. So you had to be very strategic going into combat and be very cautious in combat because you didn't want to end up using up all your stuff. You get to a boss and you just can't even survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that there was a level of difficulty to it. Plus the story was kind of like it was kitty, but then it was dark. It was like some dark elements to Echo. Like if you ever play Echo Generation, play Echo Generation. That's basically what I'm saying. Now with Ravenlock's story is basically just Alice in Wonderland. That's it. I mean, literally, it's just Alice in Wonderland. There's no difference whatsoever between them,
Mm-hmm.
except that your character is called Ravenlock instead of Alice.
Right.
um, the combat is action RPG, but it's basic. Again, they go the basic route with it. But what I didn't care for with Ravenlock compared to Echo Generation was there was no difficulty in it whatsoever. Like your dash away, usually when games give you a dash mechanic to kind of get away from attacks or enemies or AoE attack, they give you a cooldown at some point. Maybe you can dash twice before the cooldown hits, right? Nah, it's just unlimited dash in Ravenlock. You can just dash, like I be just dashing all through the map out of combat. I'm just dashing everywhere. I don't never run. I don't never just straight up run. I'm just dashing, and it's that ability to always avoid. I never blocked. What am I blocking for? I'm just dashing away from any attacks, going dashing around the bosses and just whooping them. Like it's just so easy. It's super easy, which is part of the reason probably why it was partially why it was so short. It's so short because there's really not a lot of content there.
Hmm.
You essentially you got to stop a queen. She's got a castle with a gate with three items that you have to place into the gate to open it, and you spend probably 2/3 of your time, actually more than that. You probably spend 85% of the game getting those three items. But it's like it's just real simple. Although it was an enjoyable time, it was like it was just 4 hours. So it's just well, I'm hoping with Coco Cucumber because I don't know how big that studio is. I think they got talent. I just think they need more resources. And so
Hmm.
with two games, like and maybe they split their resources because literally Echo Generation came out last year and then now Ravenlock is this year. It's like did you have two different teams working on two different games? Maybe for their third game, they could just combine them to make one bigger game that still same level of quality. It's just long story short, it's a decent game. Try it out, but I think Echo Generation is a better experience.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I've been playing that. I got my Darth Maul skin
I
from all
knew
the.
you was gonna buy it. I knew
No, I
it.
didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I
Oh,
didn't buy it.
you didn't buy it?
Now,
How'd you get it?
ish. Okay, so all right. So look, I don't quite agree with this,
Oh
but
Lord.
like they did. So you got your battle pass in Fortnite,
Yes.
but then they had like this mini battle pass,
Uh-oh.
which was like time gated at that. That was like $7 or $8.
Uh-huh.
And Darth Maul is in that. So there's like a free track to it, and then there's the paid track. And you know how battle passes are. Like
Yeah.
you get some free stuff, but the free stuff ain't as good as
It
the
ain't as
paid
good as the
stuff.
pay stuff, right?
So if you just with the free route, you would get a clone trooper, an Empire clone trooper at the end.
Right.
If you did the paid route, you get all the free stuff, plus you get
You get
like
both.
you get both, and you get Darth Maul then. So of course I was gonna get Darth Maul. So essentially, I did pay for Darth Maul, but I had to work to get him. I couldn't just buy him and then now I'm Darth Maul doing the Tootsie Roll, right?
Just
But
zero.
which I literally have that as a dance in Fortnite. But I had to actually like do all these challenges. Like you had to like I had to kill a certain number of people with a lightsaber, do a certain amount of headshot damage with the assault rifle laser gun that the Empire has. The gun that the clone troopers can't shoot for nothing, right? It's
Right.
just little things like that. But like I got that done, and I've been playing the Division a whole lot. I made a new build that is I sent you the footage for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just melt even on what's the highest? This challenge heroic. Even on heroic difficulty, which is the highest difficulty, I'm just melting people. I'm just melting everybody. It's just I don't know, man. At this point now, the division is I'm running out of things to do.
You been ran out of things to do.
But what look now see here's the thing is that like I can play a game if you always give me enough build diversity where I can continue to keep like creating new ways of having fun, creating new ways to kill the enemies
Mm-hmm.
quicker, faster, more unique, or whatever, right? I'm gonna do that. So although basically what I need for them to do is drop that new content. I've been playing it in the public test server, which is just on PC, and it's basically a roguelike. It's you go in without your gear, and then you kind of just gear up, over time. But I need them to drop that ASAP because ain't nothing else to do right now. But Jedi Survivor is Jedi Survivor is still broken on PC, but it's the where it's at right now. At least for me, it's playable for me. And what I mean by that is that like it's at minimum 60 frames per second, so it kind of fluctuates from like 80s and 90s, and then it'll drop. Like it'll have these dry. Still had has those what do they call it when you traversal dips where it's like you move to a new area and it's loading that new area. Like that stuff happens. It's happening on consoles too. I actually just watched VG Tech's video. about how it performs on Xbox and PlayStation, and I'm talking about like averaging in like between like 35 to 40 frames per second on performance mode in like whole areas. It's bad. But for me on my rig on PC, I'm going from like a high frame rate to like 50s whenever that happens. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like it's kind of and the frame timing is abysmal. It's all over the place, which is it's not enjoyable. Even though I have a high frame rate, it's not smooth. So it's just frustrating. And it's but I've gotten further enough in Jedi Survivor now where I'm like I'm digging the story. Like I'm seeing like who the antagonist is supposed to be, and he's pretty cool. And I'm seeing like all kind of like force echoes showing me stuff that happened in the past, and it's cool. I dig in the story, and it's such a high quality game. I just wish like EA gave them like another year or something. Like it
Right.
just seems like it was not ready to come out, and it's not like you're using Frostbite engine, which is garbage. You're using Unreal Engine 4. And it's just like, why is this performing so badly? Like it makes no sense to me, but that's what I'm playing, man. I already know what you playing. I'm looking at the footage of it.
That's literally all I've been playing. I played a little bit of Destiny, but whew, that was basically just to log in. And matter of fact, I was playing with Taz. He hit me up. It was like, "Hey,
Shout out
jump
to
in."
Taz.
Shout out to Taz. He hit me and said, "Hey, let's do a Grandmaster." I was like, "Okay." Haven't played Destiny in like 4 days, but okay. And we proceeded to get our butts whooped by this GM. Couldn't even get past the second encounter. I was like, yo, this is what happens when you take a break from Destiny. You forget how to play the game.
Well,
So
shoot, we might as well just go ahead and get into it since
yeah,
that's
we
the
got it.
first
It's the
topic.
first topic, man. Listen, Tears of the Kingdom, man.
You know I ain't played it, so this is all
I
you.
know,
So
I
I'm
know.
gonna ask you questions from someone
Okay.
who is completely separated from Tears of the Kingdom. What makes this game a worthy sequel to Breath of the Wild?
A worthy sequel to it. Well,
Yeah.
the worthy sequel part of it is just because, a lot of companies don't do this, but they actually give you the things that you wanted. They improve the things that you wanted. Like it's like this.
So they took out your weapons breaking?
I said they didn't you just hear me say they took out the things that you didn't want, but they improved the things that was
Okay,
messed up in the
because they
game.
didn't take out
No,
weapons breaking. I
but
know plenty of people was
they
like,
improved it though to the point where it's
okay.
not even really noticeable though. Like weapons still do break.
So people instead of they're making their own if their weapon breaks, they just make a new weapon.
Yeah, make a new one, or before your weapon breaks, you just craft or fuse it with something else, and it resets the durability on a weapon.
Okay, here's my next question. How
Yes.
many? I know this is a children's program. How many penises have you made in this game, sir? 'Cause I'm just seeing footage all over the internet of
Listen,
people
any
making twig and berries.
I
I'm gonna call it
have
twig and
I
berries,
have seen
and
those as
fighting
well.
bosses with a giant twig and berries, and I'm just like, yo, Nintendo fans is weird. Y'all some weirdos, bro. I'm just like, why is that the first thing like I see? I don't see the one making like a huge like Robotech mech, which I have seen that, but it took a while for me to see that. You know,
Hmm.
I know I'm seeing just twig and berries everywhere, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
why? So how many of those have you made?
I haven't made any, but I have seen pictures of them, and I was like, "Yo, y'all are sick."
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it's like, I mean, it's something that's inherently wrong with people when you give them the ability to basically craft or make anything. They will find a way to make the most craziest, inappropriate things in a video game, and it was in Minecraft, and it's in this game. It was in pretty much any game you could craft in or make items and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I guarantee you Nintendo knew that this was going to be something that was going to happen, but ultimately, I mean, if you think of games like Mario Maker, they had levels of dildos and stuff. which is
Yeah, I
crazy.
remember seeing some of that stuff that was just like,
In Mario,
wow,
I was like,
that's
wow, in
sad.
Mario Maker, look at your
Yeah.
imagination run.
My kids aren't playing that.
No,
Um,
no.
so let's say, okay, so is the story I kind of feel like and look, I haven't played Zelda since like I was 10 years old. I hate
Hmm.
Zelda. But
Yes, I don't know why you do, but you do.
is the story more than your typical Nintendo fare? Because if you could say if Nintendo has any weaknesses, it's in storytelling. Their storytelling is garbo. Like
I
it's
actually think the story in this is a lot better than it even was in Breath of the Wild. Like Breath of the Wild was kind of one of those stories where it's like, okay, Calamity Ganon and everything. It was just more of the cookie cutter variety of what the game normally was before, but just a little bit more, branched out. I think they really went into a lot of storytelling with this. Just like the very beginning of the game when you're walking through the caverns underneath Hyrule with Zelda, and you're getting all the exposition of everything that's happening and how did this game led up to this point. I think that is like by far some of the most and the best storytelling they have told up until this point, like pretty much in any of the Zeldas. A lot of people don't realize that there isn't one Link. There's like 12 of them. It's
wait,
like,
what?
did you know that Link is not just one Link, right? It's
Are
like,
you a clone or something?
well, there's different versions and different time periods of Link, because Link
Is it
is
a
a
multiverse?
listen, Link is a traveler. He is like the Link you play in this game he's the Link of the Wild, which is Breath of the Wild. Like the Link, the hero of time is the one from Ocarina of Time,
Is
and
there a
Majora's
different
Mask.
one from Wind Waker? Is that why he
Yes,
looks
that's the
like an 8-year-old?
yes, that is a different Link too. So there are literally 12 different Links in the Link series. They're not all just one Link. And I thought about that when I was talking to you, and I was like, a lot of people don't really know that. A lot of people think that Link is just this persistent character that is the same across all of the games, and that is definitely not the case. Some Links have, like, for the first time ever, Link, they finally spoke of Link's parents and stuff. Like there's versions of Zelda where Link doesn't, that you don't even think he has a family. He doesn't have parents or anything. He was just there, and he has caretakers and stuff that take care of him and stuff. So there is a lot of backstory to Zelda that a lot of people really don't know about, which is really, really cool. I didn't really start branching into that until after Breath of the Wild,
Uh,
because it made me kind of want to get into that type of stuff. But
well,
it's
shout out
crazy.
to shout out to the homie Ramon Terrell in the chat because he actually has a question that I was going to ask.
What's up?
Which is so is that the same for Zelda and Ganon? Are they like 12 different versions of Zelda and Ganon as well?
No, Zelda is the same across all.
Wait,
Ganon, on the other hand, like, okay, well, there's different time periods, like the way that it. So there is, I forget what game it was. No, you're right. Zelda is different in each one. Like the Ganon that you see in Heroes of Ocarina of Time is completely different than the Ganon that's in Breath of the
I was
Wild.
never like, that wouldn't make any sense
Yeah,
unless
because I
Zelda
just thought
been
about
like,
it. I just
that
thought about
that
it
would be
because there
jacked up though
is.
if she was disappointed in Link, he was like, the last Link wasn't this week. I mean,
Yeah, so
I
yeah,
mean,
there is different Zeldas and there is different Ganons. Like this is Calamity Ganon, whereas
so there are literally multiverses then.
yes, inside of the
So
Zelda
so
universe.
so there's so okay. All right. I mean, I guess that's somewhat interesting.
Yeah, something a lot of people don't know, and I think it's really, really cool if you sit back and you
So
actually think
so
about it like
so
that.
so we might run into a Link in a Zelda that actually has visual fidelity.
At some point, maybe next generation when they finally do it.
Maybe. Shout out to Tactical Gamer with the $2 super chat. Said there's 3 different timelines. He said there's 3 different timelines.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I couldn't remember how many times, but yeah, there's 3. Like I said, this is all new to me. I just started going down the rabbit hole like not too long ago. I was like recently, like, I keep hearing like, oh, there's different versions of Link. And then I started like researching it. And I was like, holy crap, there is a bunch of different Links. And
Hey, real quick, wanted to say something real quick. If you guys may have noticed, the emotes, well, the badges have changed.
yeah.
So now there are different badges for how long you've been a member, and I think it really just hit it's for both of our channels, but it really just popped in my head once I saw Ramon, in the chat, and you there's going to be a badge. There's a badge for 6 months. There's a badge for 12 months, and there's a badge for 2 years, which no one is out yet because we haven't had the memberships up for that long. But that's it.
Starting
Just
next
so
month,
that
though, we'll
you
hit the year. Next month is a year, though.
right. So you guys who have been members for that long, which we fully appreciate your support and your loyalty with that. You're gonna see your badge change starting in June.
Yep.
Yeah. So all right, cool. That sounds great. Hope you guys are enjoying making your flaccid
Oh my god,
weapons and
it's great. It's so
at 30
good.
frames per second.
But yeah, but the biggest thing that I'm really excited, slow mo. Remember when they announced God of War when it came out 2018? Remember how many like the first amount of the first numbers they gave for that game when they said it sold like 8 million? Remember how long that was? When they
No.
said they hit 8, I think it was in the first week. It sold 8 million copies in the first week. I might be off. It might have
Yeah,
been
this
4
one has sold 10 million in
in
3
3
days.
days.
Crazy.
3 days. It is still not over. It's still
I
not
don't
over.
understand because, like, all right, before Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda never sold
Wasn't
like that.
wasn't a
I
seller like
think
this.
I think the highest selling Legend of Zelda game was like 3 point something million. It
Yep.
wasn't, and I think it's like the Switch effect or something because all of the Nintendo first party IP are in their like their prime, like
Oh
they're
yeah.
all selling at the highest they've ever sold. Even when they haven't been like the best, like I don't think like Mario Odyssey is the best Mario, but like I think it's like the highest selling Mario or whatever. But I think it's partially due to the fact that there's 125 million Switches out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's also partially due to the fact that like you lose your Switch, it breaks or whatever, like you get a new Switch. I mean they have tools for this now because like I was able to log into my old Switch account once I got the Switch OLED, and all of my games were still there. But let's say a lot of people buy physical on the Nintendo Switch and you bought a physical game. Let's say you lost all that stuff, you gotta rebuy that stuff again. It's just and that tends to happen when you have a portable device,
Yeah.
versus the one that's just, people set up. Like people are probably have set up their Xbox and their PlayStation in one spot and it has not moved since
Yeah.
they set it up, however years ago, and that's not the case
You
with a
right.
with a Nintendo device. So
You
shout
right.
out again to Tactical Gamer with the $5 super chat. It says Timeline One, the hero that succeeds and defeats Ganon. Timeline Two is the hero that fails
Yeah, falls.
falls. Timeline 3 is Child Link, some Links and Zeldas and descendants of others. Okay, so which timeline is Tears of the Kingdom then? Is he the one that is he timeline 1?
He's timeline 1.
Okay, so who's timeline 2 then?
That's Ocarina of Time,
Okay, so he failed.
more
That's
or
that's
less.
that's Suck Link.
That's Suckling.
Suck Link.
Or whatever.
I'm so childish.
You are. You're
That
very
made me.
childish right now. But yeah, but I mean, that right there will make a lot of people just, I think, makes people kind of want to just understand the franchise a little bit more. It's like there's way more to this game than just what people think.
I mean, look. I know this ain't a super chat, but I just kind of want to highlight what Ramon Terrell, a writer, our resident writer in the chat, just said that I think that kind of like symbolizes what maybe the purpose of Legend of Zelda is. He says that's a very real thing about fantasy. In this case, the main character is Hyrule,
Yep.
and the sense of wonder and exploration is what has captured so many people. And that kind of he's referring to something I think Dorian Gray said, where he says Link is a blank canvas. He's just really just there to be the link for the player to the actual game, which seems to be growing topic on Twitter recently about like what is Link? Is Link a boy? Is Link a girl? Is Link
I
a he, she,
a
they?
lot
And
of
look,
people thought Link
I ain't getting
don't.
into
Nope.
any of that.
Don't
So I'm
know.
just gonna say, look,
Link is Link.
the creators said they wanted Link to be as ambiguous as possible,
And
and I think they succeeded with that.
to the point they don't
So,
even have him speak.
well, I mean, a lot of games do that too.
Well, that's how
What?
you keep it
Yeah,
ambiguous too, though.
yeah, but it's not always. For example, like my favorite game ever is Chrono Trigger, which everyone that's ever heard me talk knows that. But like Chrono doesn't speak either. Chrono, but Chrono's motivations though. It's like even though he is kind of a blank slate, he's not really, because when Chrono's mad, Chrono pulls out his sword, he gets into his fighting stance. You already know what's up. Like he ready to go throw down. Or if Chrono is shocked or surprised, you see like his 2D character shows that. So it's like it's not a complete blank slate, but I
Right.
mean, in a lot of ways, I think that's why there's the Master Chief in Halo, and how for a long time they didn't want to show his face, even though we all knew he was just some old white guy. But like they didn't want to do that because they kind of wanted those. They wanted the gamer to kind of feel like it's me, I'm the Master Chief,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's that's. I think it's pretty
It's
cool, pretty cool.
it is good, man. Well, moving on. Well, I don't want to kill people with Zelda over the head. Everybody
Yeah,
know it's great.
please don't, because we can move on now.
Thank
Please.
God Slow Mo sent me some gameplay because we would have been watching Zelda this whole screen because it's all I've been playing. I'm like 17 hours in, man. The game is freaking phenomenal. I was off the last 3 days from work, and all I did was literally sit. Like I want to say half and half. Like half of it was playing handheld mode, the other half was playing on my TV.
Like,
Like
it went from
switch.
barely being able to see it to wishing that
Hey,
you
I
couldn't see
will. I
it.
will say the game is not a good looking game, but it's definitely a fun game. I will say that.
How's that 720p on the 4K OLED?
Uh, mm, no comment.
No comment. Yeah,
No
I didn't think
comment.
so.
But
All right.
it's good. But let's just move on. Now, I was going to show gameplay for this, but not gameplay, the trailer. But I heard that people that play the trailer is getting demonetized. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to talk about it.
Oh, what, the trailer for Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, some people told me that they got them.
Weird.
Yeah, they said they got demonetized, like
What is up
WB.
with WB? Come
I
on,
was
man.
like WB out here demonetizing people. So I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna make Slow Mo sit through, Breath of the Wild. I'm gonna make Slow Mo sit through my second favorite game of all time while we do this.
God. I already know what it is, man.
So, Mortal Kombat. Now, first of all,
Man, put Breath of the Wild back up.
no,
yo.
I'm not gonna put Breath of the Wild back up there. You want
I
me
ain't
put,
trying to see this.
Breath of the Wild back up
No,
there?
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 1. Shout out to Ed Boon yesterday putting out the trailer with the little 6-minute trailer with the clock that said 12 on it. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. I thought it was going to be, first of all, what do you think of the name before we get into the trailer? Mortal Kombat 1, it is the 30th anniversary, so it looks like it seems like they're restarting. They're going back to the first one. What do you think of the name, first of all, Slow-Mo? Not going to 12, but going straight to Mortal Kombat 1 again.
I heard there's a story reason for this.
Yeah, I heard too. Yeah.
I've always I'm not into fighting games, but when back in the day when I was into fighting games, I did play Mortal Kombat mostly for the story. I didn't really care about playing against other people with it. when I played fighting games, I was mostly into like Capcom fighters, like Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom. I did get into Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur for a while, but and the best Capcom fighter, in my personal opinion, Rival Schools, which never got a sequel.
Rival Schools was pretty cool.
I love Rival Schools. Anyway, uh, yeah, Mortal Kombat. I always thought the story was real cool. Loved the movies. No, well, the first movie. To kind of clarify that, because the other ones after that, straight garbage. Especially the last one they came out with. That one was probably the worst Mortal Kombat movie, but that's it. I think the story elements are always pretty cool, and I think like I don't know what's been happening. I mean, they just like did 11, so I've missed that one a lot. But I thought I saw something that said like Liu Kang has recreated reality. I don't know how he able to do that. He was just a regular dude that was back in the day was a Bruce Lee knockoff, but whatever. I guess he's now a god or something. I don't know. Well, look, all I know is the trailer looked cool.
It looked good,
Too bad
bro.
we can't show it, but it looks cool. It looks
Yeah,
cool.
I'm not going to show that trailer. As much as I know some people did show it, I'd rather not take a what's the name.
Now, I was kind of discussing some things with our homie Eric Jackson, and Eric Jackson. So Johnny Cage is being there's going to be a skin or a something where or an appearance where you can have him appear to look like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, like I saw, I think Ed Boon was like, any other suggestions or something like that for like actors to portray a particular character or whatever, or just adding people in. And I think Eric had the greatest suggestion ever.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Bruce Leroy and Sho'nuff from the Last Dragon, and I was like, bruh, now I can't get it out of my head. I need Bruce Leroy and Sho'nuff. Look, if Bruce Leroy and Sho'nuff are in this game, I don't even like fighting games.
Man, if they
And
put
I'm
them in
buying
there,
it.
I would buy
And
it too. I would buy it too.
Because
Who's
I
the
want to beat
master?
somebody. I want to beat somebody and say, "Kiss my Converse." That's all I want to do. I want that to be a finisher. Kiss my Converse.
Oh man.
Like you can force somebody to kiss your Converse, then like you like maybe kick them and like their head explodes or something like that. I don't know. It's just that's gotta happen. They gotta make it happen now. I don't know who owns the Last Dragon IP. More than likely, it's defunct. It might be even. I hope it's like public access now, just like anybody can use it, and now make it even easier for them to just get the rights to just put it in the game. But whatever. Give me Sho'nuff, man. I need Sho'nuff with the glasses and the Converse. I need
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, man. That as soon as you said that, I was like, oh man, can you imagine actually having a Converse on? Kiss the Converse. Man, dog. That was you made me want to go watch that movie, man. That movie was great. But
I actually watched it. Oh no, no, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute
about
since I watched
year.
that movie, man.
I used to watch that like maybe every other year for a long time. That movie is such a classic.
You got the glow.
Oh man,
It's like
how we go about talking about the Last Dragon? This is the actual Mortal Kombat. This how people know, man. These guys ain't no fighting game.
no,
We
listen,
don't play fighting games.
listen. My daughter is super into Mortal Kombat. Like because I almost forgot about the trailer because I saw that because she reminded me. She called me while she was at school yesterday and was like, "Yeah, she said, go look at Mortal Kombat's Twitter account." I was like, okay. I was like, when did the trailer come out? She said, just go look. I don't have Twitter, so I can't see it. Because Mom, we don't let them have Twitter yet. I was like, well, how do you know it's on Twitter? She said, just search for Ed Boon or something. I was like, wait a minute, you even know who the creator of Mortal Kombat is? So kids, they surprise you all the time. So I go look and I see, oh yeah, Ed Boon put up a trailer. And I go look and I was like, oh my God, this little clock got my daughter freaking out. So then I wake up and I'm on my way to work. I forgot all about the trailer. I haven't even watched it yet. And then she calls me, FaceTiming me, and I was like, "Why are you FaceTiming?" And I'm looking like, "Oh, I forgot the trailer came out today." She watched it while she was at lunch, and I swear to God, she was like, "I'd never seen a kid so happy in tears to see a trailer before." Like, is someone? Do you remember how like? Let's keep it 100 here. Video games make you emotional because they hit
Oh
that
yeah, of
they
course.
hit a dopamine. It's like it's like a dopamine you get from the game from just seeing, and especially if you love something so much. And I remember that's how I felt about Halo 2 when I saw the very first trailer of Halo 2 with them jumping out of the airlock with the bomb and stuff. And it gave me this emotional feel that I was like, yo, in my mind, like I'm not crying physically, but in my mind and my brain is like screaming for joy. Like I can't wait for this next year. And I'm just super overwhelmed and happy about it. And I literally watched my daughter go through that today. Like, because Mortal Kombat is it for her. It's like her favorite. She loves fighting games. She plays all of them. Mortal Kombat is it for her though. Like she plays. She has like over 800 hours in Mortal Kombat 11, and watching her go through that, it just reminded me of how great video games are. And I'm like, I'm super touched that that games can still do this for people. And when I watched it, and I had to lie to her, she can't hear me right now because I told her we'd wait to see the trailer. But I was like, I can't wait. I got to see this. I got to get the trailer for the show today. So I got to watch it. So I'm watching this trailer and I'm on my phone watching it. And my wife is in the other room. And all of a sudden, like all the stuff, the fatalities and all the stuff at the end starts happening. And I'm like, oh my God. My wife, I was like, yo, I see why my daughter is super excited for this game. Because there's one thing, like, do I think the game's gonna look picture perfect like that? No. But do I think it's gonna look very close to what we saw when they were showing the different fatalities and stuff at the game that you can do? I think it's going to get very close to that slow-mo. Very, very close to that. I have a feeling that's going to get because that's the one thing about Mortal Kombat. Like they get when they show you stuff like in-game trailers and stuff, they get really, really close to what they show you. Like I do is if you take this trailer as 100% what the game's going to look like, you're doing yourself a disservice. But I believe I think the game will get at least between 80 and 85% to what that looks like.
Well, I mean, if it can do that, then that would be amazing. That would be great. I do think this is like if you're a fighting game fan, like
You're in heaven this year.
you're in heaven this year. Good grief! I mean, you got Mortal Kombat, you got Street Fighter 6, you've got what's the other one I'm missing?
Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8.
Tekken 8. I feel like there's one more. Oh no, well, it's not really technically one more, but for the first time in like half a decade, a studio is doing an update for Killer Instinct. So like it just seems like fighting games are just getting all kinds of updates now, which is great. Which is more content for people for genres that are typically underappreciated. I love to see it. Even if it doesn't appeal to me whatsoever, I'm glad to see other people being excited for it.
So the question is, like I said this on Brap yesterday. Shout out to the Brapcast. Shout out to everybody there. It was a really good show with the homies. Shout out to Creator Kofi. He was on there too.
Yeah,
I basically
we gotta get Kofi in when Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that. Shout out to the Final Fantasy 16 PS5 that you can go out and pre-order right now in stores. If you didn't know that. But I asked the question about when do you think we're going to see the actual proper gameplay trailer? I'm of the assumption that we're probably going to see this thing at the PlayStation event, which we're going to have a topic later on about. But we could just keep it to this because I do believe that they do have marketing rights to Mortal Kombat because they have it for all the big fighting games for this generation so far. If that is the case, when do you think we're going to see the first actual game, like official gameplay of the game?
I'm gonna say probably Jeff Keighley's Summerfest thing.
Okay, so you're thinking not the PlayStation, but Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be. Now, I could be. You're probably more right than I am, because I do believe if it was going to be the PlayStation event, at the end of that trailer, they would have said, "Tune in to the PlayStation event to see actual in-game gameplay." But they
I
did.
mean, it's like
But
it's
they didn't
literally
do
less
that.
than a week away, right? So,
Right.
like, yeah, I mean,
And they
that would be kind
literally,
of like
yeah, and they
easy.
literally didn't do that. So you're probably
Yeah.
more right than I am, but it's just real interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, man,
The release date is September, right?
September 3rd, I think it's September 13th or 16th.
Man, September is packed,
I mean,
man.
September, dog.
Starfield, the rumored Spider-Man 2. So we're gonna find out, bro.
So
I
it
think
is
we'll know for
September
certain
16th. Yeah.
we'll know for certain Spider-Man's release date this time next week. I think that's something we'll get from the showcase.
Can you see? Because if Starfield's on the 9th, or is it the
Mm-hmm.
6th?
The 6th, I
The
think.
6th. So yeah, Mortal Kombat's the 13th, because that's 7 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't leave too many more days for Spider-Man in September, unless it.
Spider-Man is the headliner as far as I look.
Yeah, but are you gonna put it out on the same?
That's the show. Look.
It's the show
hold on.
versus Mortal Kombat.
If the release month was like a concert, Mortal
That's the
Kombat
headliner. Is the headliner?
Yeah. Spider-Man 2 is the rock star that showed up 5 minutes before he goes on set. He the last one, the last act, right?
Yeah.
Starfield is like the second to last act. You know, they holding on, you know, the old guy, you know, I used to be the headliner, but now these new kids out here, they don't appreciate good music. That dude, right?
Right.
And then Mortal Kombat, sad to say, is the opening act.
Right.
You know, the building is half full, and some kids is up there who ain't got no stage presence, but they just trying. You know, even I'm not saying Mortal Kombat brand new or nothing, but I'm just saying it's like, you know, you've been to a concert before.
I have.
You know what I'm talking about, right? So it's just like in order of its I would say popularity and the amount of people that have eyes on particular games. I think Spider-Man 2 is going to be the more popular. Everyone's talking about it in September game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, Spider-Man is going to be. It will even without thinking about it, it will at least be the second highest selling game of this year. No questions asked. No, Spider-Man. Second biggest this year.
You know,
and that's only because I think Tears is going to hit
top 5.
You think top 5? You think it's going to? What's going to sell more other than Tears of the Kingdom?
Potentially, Hogwarts Legacy might have sold more.
Oh, that's true. I keep forgetting that game is.
Hogwarts Legacy is closing in on. They either already hit 20 million.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. And they had their second launch with the bigger platforms and PS4 and the Switch hasn't even come out yet. That comes out next month. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot all about that. So yeah, Hogwarts, and I know a lot of people that's getting it on a Switch.
Only thing that's outselling, I think the only game I think that's outselling Hogwarts Legacy this year is Tears of the Kingdom. Everything else is going to, like, I think Spider-Man 2 would be top 5.
Top 5 or 3? Top 3. Starfield's not going to be in the top 5 because
Starfield is available
on Game Pass,
on PC Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass, and it's not available on PlayStation, so its sales aren't going to be what you would get you expect from.
And we don't know what this year's Call of Duty.
Todd Howard joint.
And we don't know what this year's Call of Duty. We keep hearing that it's going to be.
That's gonna sell. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't. It's gonna sell.
Okay, so that's top 5.
Guarantee. It's a cool 15 million right there.
Okay,
guaranteed cool 15 million.
Okay, so the question comes down to, okay, and I do honestly, in my opinion, I do think Mortal Kombat will break 10 million.
Oh yeah. I'm just thinking Mortal Kombat's probably gonna be like definitely top 10. But it's not going to be in like the top 3 or anything like
No,
that.
no, no, no. The top three is going to be reserved for people that like to sell 20 million or more.
Right, 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 right.
Especially in that short of a window, yeah, that's kind of what makes games like Tears of the Kingdom and like Call of Duty so amazing, because they do it in such a short time. Nintendo, when it comes to their major IPs, it's like it's like the the ramp is so much steeper, how
Mhm.
high that thing climbs. It is just like Call of Duty. They do maximum impact within that first 30 to 60 days is what Call of Duty does it in. And then Nintendo games do it literally in that first, I want to say 14 days of release. They get a good 70% of their sales out right then and there. And then it's just this consistent churning of sales over the course of the rest of the year. And it was something that I even brought up on the show. A lot of people were buying Breath of the Wild because they never played it, so they bought both copies of the game. And then somebody in the chat during BRAP yesterday made a point and said that Breath of the Wild is literally number 3 in the eShop right now, with Tears of the Kingdom being number 1. So that just lets you know that
A lot of people
the
is just like, "Oh,
oh,
what did I miss?"
what did I miss? I got to jump back in
Yeah,
and
let
get
me go.
this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's it's
Mm.
it's kind of crazy. Then we're talking about that game still goes for $60 on the eShop, and that's a game from 2017. So it's
That's
just
'cause
that's
Nintendo don't care.
Nintendo don't care, man. But
They
yeah,
don't.
but when it comes to Mortal Kombat,
Sale
I'm
for what?
right. What's the sale? But when it comes to Mortal Kombat, I am more excited. I will definitely play, because I do play against my daughter so she can whoop me. She has definitely got better at the game than I have, because 700 hours in the game cannot be sneezed at. You can't poo poo that. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. I already know before she even asks, I'm pre-ordering the $100 version so she can get all the characters and everything that's coming in the game. So I'm definitely going to be getting that ultimate edition of the game. But and I know you're not really into it like that, slow mo, but
Nah.
which is probably great for you. You ain't got to worry about it. But
But I'm telling you, man. Look, man. You get Bruce Leroy in there. You get Shonuff in there. I'm buying MK. I'm buying MK1.
there it is, man. And I think the name's going to actually help it sell more too, because people are going to be like, like I got to get. It's like the ground floor, so people going to feel like they
Yeah.
need to get in on the ground floor.
And you might get some old school gamers like myself that like stop playing fighting games, but then remembers that one and be like, "Man, I got to buy that for." It's like a nostalgia reasons why they'll buy it, even though they probably complete garbage at this point, and
Right.
just
Exactly.
just buy it just to play around with it and do the story stuff and drop it and go on to something else. You know how it is, yeah.
Right. All right. Well, before we move over to the next topic, I definitely want to thank a lot of people in the chat that came through. Shout out to the homeboy Ramon Terrell, True Serum, Gregor Von Dune that says Slow Mo only plays a division to clean up all the trash bags in every street.
A lot of trash bags,
There's a
man.
lot of trash bags
It's
out
a lot of
there,
trash
man.
bags in the streets,
Shout
man.
out to the Black Mamba. Thanks for coming through, man. Dorian Gray always here. Tactical Gamer. The Ashen Luca, the Lashy Lucario, the Lashy one. Ooh, she's here. I don't know how she says it, but try
It was close.
she here.
I don't know if she goes to do the woo woo.
I just said woo, she here.
I didn't know you was about to sing an R&B song. You woo woo. Like, what are you doing?
Shout out to Hack and Sack. He's here. Thirsty Below. Shout out to you.
The lashing.
The Lashy Luca. Bubba Fett Gaming. Shout out to you.
Oh my god, I'm sending her a message now. The lashing Luca.
Lashy Luca. Oh, Forte, I'm here. Hey, shout out there. Shout out to Chris Bush. Yeah, Chris Bush is up in here too. Don't let me down, Forte. I'll never let you down. I'll never let you down, bro. Really appreciate everybody coming through, man. It's always a great time. And if you didn't hit the like button, hit it. 37, 39 people in here, 23 likes. Really appreciate it. Let's move on to the next topic. I was gonna do a video of nothing but cats being played with their owners and their like as pets, but Slow-Mo was like they're going to demonetize you if you do that. So I'm not. We're just going to say Slow-Mo, a game about a cat
Yeah.
is coming to. It looks like it's coming to Xbox, sir. It's called Stray. I didn't play that game on PS, and they gave it away on PS5. I didn't play it
Yeah.
because I didn't want to play as a cat.
I played it, and look, man,
Yeah, how did you feel about it, Slow? I know you played it.
I ain't like it. I mean, look, I'm just gonna. It wasn't a bad game.
Uh
It's
huh.
just I was bored. Played about 45 minutes and was like, you know what, I'm good.
You didn't like that the cat was giving directions and opening.
Look, it was very cat-like, acted like a cat, would like, scratch stuff and act like a cat. I just didn't care. I didn't care for the game. I didn't care. Like I was bored. And I played it on stream. Like it's on my channel on stream, and I was.
Well, you only got through
Uh,
45 minutes on stream. That was a really short stream, or did you just start streaming something else?
I actually streamed something before that because there was another game that came out at the same time that I was playing, and I can't remember what it was. So I played two games. It was like a lunchtime with Slow-Mo thing. I played two games. One of them was something else that released at the same time as Stray. That at least the same week. But I played both of them back to back, and I didn't care for either one of them. So there you have
Yo,
it. So I don't care about it coming to Xbox either. So, but
well,
cool.
well, guess what? I know somebody that's super excited, Dealer Gaming, because he has a cat. And I asked him, I said, "Are you going to play Stray?" He said, "Yeah, I'm actually really interested in that game." And I was like, "That's only because you got a cat that you actually call your best friend
He
at home
wasn't
with you."
interested enough to play it on PlayStation last year.
Well, listen, I'm not here to,
I'm
tell
asking.
people.
I don't know.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
know.
yes, yes. Dealer has a PlayStation 5. Does he turn that PlayStation 5 on? I don't know. But he had the opportunity to play that cat game over there and he decided not to do it. But he's definitely gonna play it on Xbox. So if you want to ask him why he hasn't played it on PlayStation, you have to ask him. I don't know.
Cool.
A lot of people said Dealer's a PC gamer now. That's a lie. That man ain't never coming over to PC. And if he has, that's a turn of event for me. But yeah, he's like one. But
Should. He might as well come over to PC.
listen, shout out. Like, there's people out. Like I got some. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna let them tell you. But I got a couple of phone calls over the last couple of days about how much do Xboxes trade in for, because they have high end PCs and they kind of don't need those systems anymore. So I told them, I was like, well, before you, it is basically all based off the showcase. I will say that it was all based on the showcase because they were ready to do it. And I said, well, don't go on Twitter announcing that you're getting rid of your Xbox and the showcase might be fire. And then you're going to be like, oh, never mind, I'm going to keep my Xbox. I say, no. Wait till the showcase comes and they disappoint you before you do that first, because they may not disappoint you. And he said, yeah, you're right. So a lot of people out here looking at this showcase, and we're going to talk about the showcase.
It was As Dust Falls. What the heck?
What was?
Oh, I'm looking at because shout out to Miles in the chat. He was like, I was playing As Dust Falls. That was the other game. But I liked As Dust Falls. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't like it initially, but then ended up liking it later on. I don't know. But
shout out to Miles coming through and knowing all that.
With the memory better than mine of what I what
well,
I
that's
played.
not
I
that's
don't remember what I played.
well, that's not too hard. I hear Slow-Mo.
Hey.
There's one thing that it's like you remember a lot of different. Like if it comes down to you remembering what a fanboy said online, you gonna remember that for the next 10 weeks. But if it's something like just
my petty memory is immaculate.
Is immaculate, right? Exactly.
My regular memory though, it's a little need some work.
Hacky Sack said, "You don't tell me you had to talk Rand off the ledge." Oh man, it's not like this. Not like this. But with that being said, I'll definitely, I don't know, man. I wasn't interested in Stray when it first came out, and I have it on PlayStation. It'd be weird for me to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm gonna play Stray now," all of a sudden because it's on Xbox, and I'm like, especially when you didn't even have to pay for the game. It's not like the game was, a paid for thing. They gave it to everybody on PlayStation. That had PlayStation Now, or not PlayStation Now, but PlayStation Premium.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if I do play it, it would be on PlayStation before I played it on Xbox, just to be consistent with it. But it is coming. It looks like it was rated by the ESRB under Xbox, and anybody that loves cats will probably want to play this game and love it.
Yeah, let's move on, man.
So
I don't care about this cat game.
so moving on to the next topic, the homie Slow Mo, you love Ubisoft, don't you? Oh, you love Ubisoft.
What?
You love Ubisoft, don't you?
Excuse me?
It's like one of your favorite developers of all time, isn't it?
It's like saying, Slow-mo, you love Taco Bell, don't you? Don't you love running to the bathroom 15 minutes after you eat the food?
Well,
Like, what do you?
Well, that's mostly due to the fact that they out here, telling people
Oh.
to repackage and not repackage, but sell expiring meat to people.
Well, look, all I'm saying is I've had food poisoning from Taco Bell. So yeah, no, I don't like. I
You-
don't love Ubisoft.
So what did? But you just
Hmm?
happen to like one of their particular games that they make.
The Division. I like the Division. Yeah,
You like
but
or
like
love the Division?
I like the Division,
You
man.
can't
But
just
don't
say how
try,
many
don't
hours.
try, like, how
Don't
you
let me,
gonna
don't
try
let
to
me pull up these numbers, man. How many? You can't say you like something when you got over 100 and 200 hours in the game. It can't just be a like.
200 hours is nothing.
What?
200 hours is nothing.
You
for
probably
a
got more than that,
I
Slow
got
Mo.
more than 200 hours in Destiny 2, and I hate that game.
Okay, we'll see. Let's see how many you got in. I'm gonna look up how many you got in Division.
Why is this a topic? Can we get to the topic?
Well, okay.
The topic is not how many hours does Slow-mo have in the Division.
Because
look,
I'm gonna look it up, and it's gonna say
will,
something like 15 days or something.
I will look it up for you. I
and that's just on Xbox.
I have 100% at the Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's probably
pretty ridiculous,
extremely high. I don't know what it is for Division 2, but Division 1. Look, what's the topic? I'll tell you what it is.
well, I know what the topic is. I'm about to talk about. So Ubisoft.
They don't know what the topic is.
Okay, well, it says it. Oh yeah, it doesn't really specify. It just says they're ramping up. You're right, Slow Mo. You're right.
I have 102 days. 22 hours and 44 minutes in the Division.
That's not
1.
like, sir. That's love.
I like it.
But you played it like you loved it.
Hey, look, man. At one point in time, I was a looter shooter crackhead. Okay? I am in recovery, and I don't play looter shooters like that no more. I have
He said they got
seen the light. There are other games that are waiting for me to experience. And having a second job for a looter shooter ain't the move. So yeah, I have 102 days of my life.
Oh my god,
102 days of my life.
When you sit there, you look at that. It's kind of disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah. What the hell am I doing? Right.
Well, guess what? Well, guess you want to feel better about yourself, Slow-mo? I'll tell you how you feel better. My Destiny time is 272 days on Destiny 2 alone.
I don't feel better. I just feel sad.
It's like it's almost in a minute it's gonna be a calendar. In a minute it's gonna be a calendar year.
Anyway, look, let's stop.
Okay,
what's going on with Ubisoft?
Let's stop depressing ourselves. Okay, Ubisoft plans to increase the number of Assassin's Creed developers by 40%. 40%, Slow-mo. Basically, that means they're ramping up more production on Assassin's Creed going on next
30 different studios, so I think they're just dedicating more. Most of those studios are support studios.
Studios.
Like people think about how big that Ubisoft is as a publisher, but the majority of the studios has got like names like Ubisoft San Francisco, Ubisoft Budapest, Ubisoft Shanghai, and it's like 30 people. And all they do is like make buildings for the next Ghost Recon or something. Like it's just full-fledged AAA studios, they got like 5, I think. I know I'm probably exaggerating here, and then Die, shout out to Asian Deli, is going to send me a DM later on saying, Mo, they got more than 5 full-fledged AAA studios. I'm like, look, all I'm saying is the majority of them are support studios and not AAA deals, which is why they are relying so heavily on massive entertainment, and so that massive can't make a Division 3 because they're too busy trying to save Ubisoft with these licensed games for Avatar and Star Wars. But whatever. So back to what we were talking about. All these additional assets going to Assassin's Creed. I think. Look, I'm
They got
Ubisoft is
6 new games in development as of right now.
Ubisoft's in trouble, bro. Like they
Ooh.
lost, like they were in the red, like $250 million. I think it was. I said what? I sent you the link about it, right?
Yes, you did.
I think it was $250 million. They were in the red.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they need their big IPs to hit, and they need them to hit like they've never hit before. Pause. And so, like, they really, really need Assassin's Creed to be amazing, and they're going back to their roots with some of these games. And like, yeah, so of course they're going to try to, rededicate all their resources to making sure those games are excellent. Uh,
So this is something that they had to update as of yesterday during the company's earnings call. Chief
hey,
Financial
real quick,
Officer,
you want
yeah.
to update the footage because I'm tired of seeing Destiny. Just
Oh, yeah, I'll do it.
honestly,
During the company's earnings call, Chief Financial Officer Frederick Dugnick said around 2,000 developers are currently working on Assassin's Creed out of the total workforce of 20,000. The number is therefore expected to raise to around 2,800 over the coming years, with the increased headcount achieved by relocating people from other franchises, according to the source. So they're going to basically 800 more people is going to be added to Assassin's Creed. So they're not really hiring more people. They're just moving people from other projects over to the Assassin's Creed project, which is going to total an extra 800 people coming over from other places. Go ahead, Slomo.
yeah. So, yeah. I think Ubisoft is at kind of like a crossroads for just their future in general. There's a lot of consolidation going on in the industry right now, and I think they probably would have been acquired already if they didn't have so much
Mm-hmm.
human capital, that they're dragging along with them. Um, that's a lot of people to manage all across the world, and I do not think that they manage all those people well. I think that it's I think they've already kind of like hit some bets already because like the Guillermo brothers are it's the family business. They primarily run and own Ubisoft. They have their own company that has the majority shares in Ubisoft called the Guillermo Brothers Limited. And Tencent invested $250 million into that. So my theory is that now they also increased their investment in Ubisoft itself from like 5 to 10%.
Mm-hmm.
When they also invested heavily into the Guillermo Brothers Limited. But I think that what Tencent what may end up doing is if things start to go really bad for Ubisoft, where say like the Avatar game they're working on doesn't hit, and they really wanted that to come out around the time that Avatar, what was it, the Way of Water or
Way
whatever
of
the heck it was
Water.
called. Yeah,
Yeah.
when that movie, the perfect time to have released the game would have been when the movie came out.
They missed that boat.
But yeah, it wasn't ready, which thank you for not releasing, for once, someone's not releasing unfinished garbage out here. But that said, by the time it comes out, does anyone even remember or care about Avatar? Who knows? Not like Avatar has a huge history in gaming. So
That's true.
if the game isn't good, then if it bombs, this is where I kind of foresee things, and I would hate for it to turn out that way, but I feel like it might be the case. Is that Ubisoft might have to start shutting down some of these studios in order to try to keep the lights on, so to speak. And they may attempt to do that as a way to kind of make themselves more attractive for an acquisition, but also to kind of like help deal with some of the huge losses that they're taking. But they really need these games to hit. I think X Defiant has made a lot of improvements as a live service first person shooter. Uh, I think it's got the potential to do way better than their other live service offerings like Hyperscape. Hyperscape was dead on arrival. I don't think that's going to be X Defiant anymore. I don't think it'll be dead on arrival. I think it may catch on, but it's as we know with live service games, it's not about how you start. It's about how you're delivering on content and how agile you are in making changes that the community cares about post launch. And
Right.
we've seen so many games, live service games, start out great, and then like it's like the developers think they like. I mean, I said I'm not. I don't want to say they think they know everything. It's their game, but
Right.
when the community's like, we don't like these things. There's an issue here. You got to do with cheaters better. And when if you're not very quick on the response, people there's too many live service games out here for people to be waiting for you to figure it out. I look, I think Ubisoft can't afford for X Defiant to turn into Rogue Company, where it's got a dedicated little community that still plays the game, but the game don't really make money for the publisher because the community is too small.
Right.
And I don't think Ubisoft can't afford for X Defiant to be that kind of game. So this year's gonna be rough. Like I actually initially had told you guys I thought the Division Heartland was coming out this summer. The fact that Ubisoft, when they talked about what to expect this fiscal year, did not mention the Division Heartland at all, tells me internally that got delayed. So probably not going to expect it until like maybe summer of next year, which that's not it's it's not looking good. Not looking good. So I don't know. Like I'm hoping for the best, but I guess we'll have to see. What are your thoughts about all this in Ubisoft's future?
I mean, Ubisoft has been flailing quite some time now. You know, they expected better results out of Far Cry 6 when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you said, they had what was the game, the secret game that you played that was I forget the name of it. The I forget
Which one?
the
Because
one the
I've
one
played
that
a
you
few.
the one that was in beta. Not in beta, the one that you gotta, the one that was I forget the name of that. Was it not a looter, was a
Was it good or bad?
bad.
Well, that was X Defiant.
Oh, that was X Defiant? I thought it was
Yeah,
something else.
yeah. When I was in I guess I can talk about it now. I was in the initial test of it where you weren't supposed to talk about what you were playing, and that was X Defiant, and it was horrendous.
So they actually made it better.
They made it way like they went like zero dark, whatever, for like a
30.
good year and a half. And when they came back, like the gunplay was much improved. They they still need to work on balancing because they got like these skills or abilities that each faction has, and that's my biggest issue. And I think probably their biggest hurdle
Mm-hmm.
is that some factions are way overpowered and way more popular than others, and there's no like because it's 6v6 but there's only like four factions. There's going to be overlap on the factions, so there's no way to like balance it and not have like a whole team full of the echelon and Far Cry rebels all over the place. Like
Right.
there's just no way to balance that when you got a 6v6 game and four factions. People are at the minimum there's going to be like two or three, using the same class. But that said, it's like they gotta balance the abilities better. I think the best equalizer is probably the Ghost Recon. No, I'm sorry, the Watchdogs faction that can actually hack the other team and prevent them from using their abilities. And that will kind of even things up so that they can stop people from just using the heal for the Far Cry rebels and tanking other players. But like the cooldown on that is too long. So it's
Hmm.
like it's gotta there's a balancing thing they gotta figure out. And I'm not a developer, so look, it ain't my job to figure it out. But I'm just telling you, it's still not there. So if they don't figure that out, their X Defiance is going to be pretty short lived. But this is why the game's not out yet. Even though I mean, it ran pretty well. It did have a few bugs here and there, but I didn't really like. I didn't have problems getting in and out of matches or anything like that. It was fine.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they just that game that one improved. But I think they got to stop showing us like I don't know, like they need to do some better internal testing. Like nobody, some of their games that they were thinking about putting out, and then like the reception of those games to the public and like the YouTube the like ratio tells me you had no idea that nobody wanted to play this. like, like you, whose idea was this game? Because it clearly wasn't anybody that like you focus tested and said, yeah, I would love to play a Ghost Recon battle royale shooter. Like, no, I want Ghost Recon, fool.
Right.
Like, I don't want, I don't want Apex Legends, but a Ghost Recon skin. Like, stop doing that stuff. Like, they need to find their uniqueness again. I think that's the only way they're going to get out of whatever hole they're in right now.
No, I agree. I just think that for the most part, a lot of people are just. I mean, we always thought the formula would get better once they had that realignment at the top and got rid of the people that made them all look a little bit samey. But it's still. We even said then it's still gonna take time for them to like kind of get that formula in a direction there where it seems and feels different, because right
Hmm.
now a lot of the games still feel kind of the same. But for the most part, I know me personally, I definitely wanted to have something that brings me back to the Division. I just think that the Division was one of those great franchises that a lot of people either just didn't like because of the bullet sponge nature, because they looking at real, not real
Hey
humans, but
man, look, if you build your character
oh no,
right, they
you can
got
put some
bullet.
people, you can put people
Hey,
down.
you looking at this gameplay right now?
Oh
Ain't no
yeah,
bullet sponges going on right
he said these
now.
people going down. Let's
They
go.
going down quick, fast, in a hurry. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
yeah. Look,
I
you
think,
build your character right, you're not gonna have them problems.
yeah, so I really am hoping that with the more the bigger focus, bringing more people, getting more people's eyes on the Assassin's Creed, franchise, to make it a little bit more different. And this is just with the 6 new games that they're bringing, but they actually have, I believe it's 4 other games that they're actually, redo, like doing re-ups to even remaking or redoing. And a lot of people are going to hope for games like Splinter Cell and stuff like that. Like
Yo,
I feel like a Splinter
here's the thought.
Cell would be
He- he-
amazing if they
Right,
did
right. So,
that.
so, so, so here's the thought, right? What if they kind of went because like how did Capcom was in the same position they're currently in right now once upon a time.
Yeah.
And Capcom now is like it's they have never been more successful than they are right now. And if you think about like, well, what did Capcom really do to get themselves out of that hole? Well, this is what they did. They took their classic games and said, "Didn't you guys love Resident Evil 2? Yeah, we loved Resident Evil 2. We wish you would make games like Resident Evil 2 again. Okay, here's Resident Evil 2 remade to look amazing. And we didn't just give you the exact game as before, essentially a remaster that was remade in a new engine. Instead, we made quality of life improvements. We did some things a little. We looked at the final product and say, hey, here's some certain things we can tweak. We tried the same thing with Resident Evil 3. Didn't quite work out that well. Maybe we should have kept in the clock tower. But this is their approach. That was their approach, and it worked. I mean, like that. In addition to take Resident Evil by itself, they had the remakes, and they've done 2, 3, and 4. In addition to Resident Evil 7, which was, even though it was first person and some Resident Evil purists don't care for that, a lot of people enjoyed because it went back to actual horror roots. And then you got Resident Evil Village, which a lot of people enjoyed as well. And so, yeah, Capcom's killing it, man. And so I think if they wanted to do that with Assassin's Creed, maybe start with like Assassin's Creed 2.
I don't know, man. They need to fix 1.
No, well, no one cares for 1.
Okay. Oh, well,
I'm not even an Assassin's Creed fan. I know that people.
Well, 2 is the best one of the original trilogy.
So take the one that has all the nostalgia. Take 2.
Okay.
Remake that in the Snowdrop engine.
Okay.
Make some quality of life improvements. Sell that. Not only is development not going to be as long because you don't need to redo the story. You already got the story,
right.
and you already know what you need to do as far as rebuilding this game and Snowdrop engine. Get that out there. It's a guaranteed seller.
Right.
Then you do Far Cry 3. Skip 2. Skip 1. Far Cry 3. What was the name? What was the villain? Boss? Was that his name?
Voss. Yeah, Voss was 3.
And then you do some massive quality in life because that one's going to need it. But like this is how you build it up, and then you add that in addition to your licensed stuff with Avatar and Star Wars, and then you get people, and then you can actually, if you want to continue on, look, if you want to do an Assassin's Creed remake, that's a remake of the original Assassin's Creed, people not going to be complaining about your new Assassin's Creed games being action RPGs and not stealth games. Because you're giving them the stealth game that they loved and enjoyed originally.
That's true.
So you can continue to keep, trying new things with your IP while also giving people what they want from you. Like give us Splinter Cell 1 remake. Do that.
5 versus Mercs, baby.
3 games. Splinter Cell 1 remake, Far Cry 3, Assassin's Creed 2. Remake these 3 games. You're not worried about getting your company sold, and the Guillermo brothers not worried about, trying to get that parachute from Tencent to get up out of there.
That's a big parachute, though.
It's a big parachute, but it's there.
It's there.
They find their employees don't know what's going to happen with them, but they got a get out of free card, get out of jail free card. But they won't even have to worry about using that because if they just went the Capcom route, they'd be good to go.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I think the biggest thing ultimately
damage, 375 million to my teammates. They didn't even get close.
You proud of that, ain't you?
Hey man, look, man, I was just doing my thing out there,
carrying
the team, my back. It's a little sore. It's a little sore. But,
my back was a little sore.
We'll do a little stretching, a little light stretching. It's
all right.
God.
So yeah, I'm over you. I'm over you when you start talking like that. All right, man. All right, so Ubisoft needs a lot of stuff to do, but we know we're getting a bunch of Assassin's Creeds in the future, and some people love them. Some people be like, "Nah, man, I'm not about to spend 1,000 hours running around checking, chasing check marks."
Right. Yeah. Don't have like these 4 Assassin's Creed games. make sure the majority of them are old school Assassin's Creed, and
Yeah.
only one of them is like Valhalla and
In
Odyssey and
Odyssey
Origins.
and Origins,
Yeah,
yeah. Cause that was the thing. It was like the barf on the screen and how many exclamation points I could put on it. All
right.
right. So slow mo.
Yo,
PlayStation. They finally are doing something.
real quick, let's shout out to the only Sony insider that we know.
Oh, no, BB knowing Beatstradamus.
B knowing ish 101, aka B Money 101. Thank you, sir, for telling us back in like November.
Yes. That
Told the Brab Squad in November
that this was a thing.
that this showcase was happening. Initially, he said it would be April. He told us that last year. And
Yes.
then when it got to about February, he said, nah, it's gotten pushed back. It's gonna be late May. This is
Mm-hmm.
what he told us in February. Now, shout out to also very good insiders like Jeff Grubb, the homie Jeff Grubb. We love Jeff. Jeff reported on this. He heard about this, before it was officially announced too. But this one, Jeff was one up by the B Money, B knowing ish 101. He be knowing ish, man. I'm telling you, when he tell you something's about to happen, it's about to happen. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. So PlayStation event showcase coming on next Friday, which is May 24th. 4 days after my birthday, y'all. Shout out to the birthday.
Wednesday.
Yep, Wednesday. My birthday's Saturday, so I'm gonna have a really good week. It's gonna be amazing.
You said next Friday.
No, I said Wednesday. I said my birthday's this Saturday, and the event is next Wednesday.
You definitely did not say when. No, it doesn't matter. It's Wednesday. Everyone is Wednesday.
Okay, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, and I will be very excited to see what they have to show. Mostly not even really due for me because like the only thing I really care about right at this point is Wolverine because I'm not really a big Spider-Man person like that. I mean,
I don't think we're gonna see Wolverine.
I know we're not. I know. I can only hope. I can only hope. But being a person that really just likes to see what other people their enjoyment levels on the things that they like is the main reason why I'm happy that this is finally happening because we're finally moving in a direction where PlayStation finds themselves they feel more confident now to just announce and release these games and start talking about them and stuff. The ABK deal is winding itself down. Win, lose or draw, who knows what's going to happen there. But I think now it's getting to the point where we can start talking about all these new games that's coming. And being a person that sells these games, I'm just really excited to see what the portfolio looks like. So in general, what are you expecting from this show, Slow-Mo?
All right. I'm expecting to see Spider-Man 2 gameplay. I'm hoping to see in this gameplay. Okay, I'm expecting a trailer. It'll be a gameplay trailer, but it's kind of gonna be one of those gameplay trailers where it's CG, scripted stuff to kind of explain what's going on in the story in this one, so that people know what's going on, what's the purpose of Spider-Man 2. But then with the gameplay, I expect them to kind of show us the improvements they've made or the additions to Spider-Man 2 that make it different from Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2018. And in addition to that, I expect we'll get a release date of the game as well. So that's the first thing that I'm expecting. Then one other thing I think that we will get, I think that we're going to see at least a couple of new IP, and not just new IP that's games as a service, but like they'll probably show at least one of those, the games as a service games that they're working on. But I think that we're going to see like new IP, like single player IP from some of their studios. So I think those two things are, I feel like might be a given from what's going on. What
Yeah,
about you?
I think the biggest thing is like I do like Spider-Man was definitely a must see here because even though PlayStation didn't come out and announce it, Insomniac did on their Twitter account saying that it was on schedule for the fourth quarter of this year, which is pretty much Sony coming out and saying it themselves. But I do think that we are going to see at least probably 2 or 3 of those live service games that Sony wants to come out in the next couple of years. I think we're going to
Mhm.
get the chance to see at least 2 or 3 of those, with one of them being factions. I do think we're going to get a rollout of at
I
least
don't know
what
if we're
that
gonna
game's
see
going.
factions
I think we are. I think we're going to, because I think factions is going to be next year. I think it's going to be the beginning of the year. So
next year. I do agree that about I think factions comes out in 2024.
yeah, I don't think it
I
comes out this
don't
year.
know. I don't know if we actually see factions at all. Maybe we'll get like a teaser trailer because literally all we've seen so far has been concept art.
Right, exactly. That's all we've seen. So I do think that in general we're gonna get a chance to see something like that. But for the most part, it mostly just comes down to let's start seeing what these games are going to be, what people are going to be looking forward to in the near future and everything. Um Wolverine is the one that I really want to see, but like you said, I doubt that we're going to see a game like that this early before it comes out, because I don't think that game's coming out to at least 2015, let's say 2015, like
2025.
2025 and 26
Yeah, I
probably.
agree.
Yeah, so that's like the earliest for that.
They
um
they they gotta really come different from what because look you're looking at like my modded Spider Goku gameplay, but like
He's
the
look all weird.
I think he looks cool. I
No, I just
definitely
said no, it does look cool. I'm just looking at it, it looks weird though.
okay. Anyway, I think like they have been able to take assets or tools that they've created for other games and readapt them for their future games very easily. But I don't think a lot of that stuff that they've done in the past really works for Wolverine. So they really gotta kind of like really create new things that they haven't had to not saying that they've just been reusing assets over it. I'm not saying that, but they gotta create new tools for like the game design of this game for Wolverine that they haven't had like it's not can't be adapted from say Sunset Overdrive or Ratchet and Clank. Like they gotta actually do some different stuff. Plus, like this game's gotta be brutal, visceral, bloody. We need decapitations. We need severed limbs. It needs to be as brutal and bloody as Wolverine should have been in on Fox and was in the Logan movie, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what people expect from it, and they have so far it's in their comments have spoken on it as that's what we want that. So I'm glad to hear that, but like I think all that stuff kind of takes time, and you know how Sony is. Sony isn't going to really show something until it's like it looks good. They ain't gonna be out here. I'm about to say so. They ain't gonna be out here showing you a game and after the fact go, oh, we didn't know it looked like that. Like, how do you not know? You showed it. You showed the game. How did you not know what the way it looked like that? That's not them. So it's not going to show until they're actually ready to do it.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
um, but outside of knowing there's gonna be Spider-Man 2, and I think probably a couple of like new IP games, it's even that is very vague. I'm not certain of what to expect because it's been so long. It's been almost 2 years since their last showcase. So there's just so much to cover, and I kind of feel like it's going to be structured the way they do their state of plays
Mm-hmm.
where it's not going to be a lot of talking. It's just going to be game after game after game after game, which is exactly how I like it. I
Right.
don't really care for no host. I definitely don't care about any developer interviews at a showcase. Keep
Mm-hmm.
that stuff for like a after post show, wrap up kind of thing. Yeah, then bring a dev out. I like the way they and Nintendo do their shows, and sometimes Xbox has done the same thing, where it's just if they do bring someone out to speak, it's because they're announcing like a new like a new service or whatever, or they a studio acquisition or whatever. It's not like they're not boring everybody, and so
Right.
with just an hour and you haven't shown anything in a year and a half, like I expect to see a lot of content that's going to have people pretty excited.
I think,
I
and
think.
that's the reason why people are so excited because they haven't. It's been almost 2 years since the last major showcase, and I mean, and even this isn't really considered a major showcase because it's only what they said 90 minutes or something.
They said an hour.
Oh, so 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So what you're literally what, and at that point you're what 30 minutes or maybe 20 minutes off their basically their state of plays.
And some of that is going to be PSVR too games.
Yeah, so I don't even think this is what people really want from Sony. Like they want, they want that 90-minute to 120-minute blowout that they normally used to get at least once a year from Sony that they haven't done in a couple of years. So, but I think everybody will take something like this because they haven't had anything in a while. And that's what I'm excited to just see what's on the docket for it. Like, I haven't, like I said, I always tell people I haven't turned my PlayStation and played it since, Ragnarok in November. Not because I don't like playing on PlayStation. It's just that I play everything pretty much on PC and Xbox except for first party games. If first party games come out, I'll play them over there. So it just depends on what's coming out for them this year that I'm gonna be excited to play, and I'm definitely looking forward to see that. But I also just like the, I like being at work and I like hearing what other people got to say about the things they saw at these showcases and listening to the back and forth of, shout out to Persona and them. I like listening to him and Jay Barry talk about the things they saw at the PlayStation showcase. They'll be my number one listen to when it comes to that because I know they're genuine about their feelings about what PlayStation is doing. But I think that's what a lot of people are going to be excited for. Just the just knowing that something's coming, and I think that's a good thing.
Ooh.
But
Yeah, yeah, man.
what?
Go ahead.
Okay, so if you had to pick one surprise, like I told you, mines. I don't know if it's going to be true now, but I think Mortal Kombat was going to be the one surprise that I think was going to be showcased there. After that, we was going to get the gameplay. If you had to pick one thing as the surprise thing that you think was going to come from the showcase that you're going to see, what do you think it's going to be?
You know what? This is more of just hoping this happens so that people will stop asking for it.
Oh, okay.
I
What's
think the one surprise is going to be a Bloodborne remake being made by Bluepoint.
they just celebrated? What did they just celebrate? How many years on Twitter? Was it 15
For
years or
for
something?
Bloodborne? For
N-
Bloodborne?
No. Oh, that's Sony. That's Sony Bend, never not Blue Point. I was thinking Sony Bend just posted something on Twitter about their anniversary date. But dude, do you know that would be so huge if they
And
did that.
they need to have it come out on PS5 and PC.
Yes, it has to come out on PC day and date too, if
There
that's the
there
case.
are like 8-bit Bloodborne remake kind of games on PC that have sold well. Like the
Hmm.
PC community will buy a Bloodborne remake. They could just do a update to the actual Bloodborne that gave it 60 frames per second and people will be playing that. Like it's
Yeah.
just like it's past time. They gotta do something with that. But like, will they? Who knows? But that's my one big surprise. I think Blue Point. It wouldn't surprise me if they were working on two games,
Okay.
a remake and their own like completely original IP.
Hmm.
So
Cool. Well,
yeah.
speaking of original IPs, moving on to the next topic about another original IP made by a company that's part of the ABK deal that's going to be coming, that's already out. Uh, Overwatch 2,
Oh boy.
Blizzard Blizzard has officially canceled the PvE mode, which was the hero mode that was going to be available inside of Overwatch 2, which happens to be the number one reason why they put a 2 at the end of Overwatch. Not because of all the changes they made to the multiplayer, not
What
because they
changes?
yeah, exactly.
They ain't changed
Not because
anything.
they all they did was not because the only thing they really did was take it from being a 6v6 game down to 5v5 and saying instead of you having two takes on the field, you could only have one. So we're not gonna act like that this Overwatch having a number 2 at the end had anything to do with any of that. The reason that it was supposed to have a 2 is because they were adding a hero mode that was a PvE story mode added to the game in
It was
slow
supposed to
mo.
have character progression. It was supposed to have new abilities and powers for all the characters. It was supposed to be story narrative driven. It was supposed to be all this other stuff. And because of all those things, they said that we couldn't just add that to the current game. We need to make a whole new game. This is their justification for why that content was taking so long to come out and why they would basically didn't do any new content for Overwatch 1 for years. So this was announced in 2019, 4 years ago.
4 years ago, bro.
They went basically years without updating Overwatch with any content, letting that community just languish with the same game with no new characters, no like very little changes at all for years. Then for it to come out, and when the game came out, they announced, "Hey, look, hero mode. It's not going to come out until 2023. It's going to come out in January or early 2023." And when they launched the game, everybody immediately started calling it Overwatch 1.5 because the amount of content. First of all, how do you make a sequel where visually there is zero improvement? I mean, it literally looks just like Overwatch 1 because it is Overwatch 1.
It is
It's the
Overwatch 1.
same game. Then they didn't allow people access to Overwatch 1 again. And how about this? I used to play the game heavy on Xbox years ago, back when it first came out, like 2016. I played it for heavy for a good 5 months. I had all these skins and stuff. Go over the Overwatch 2. Tell me why some of the skins and content that I paid for / unlocked was unavailable to me. So instead of adding content with a new game, you took content away.
Yep.
So people was rightfully upset about that. Rightfully upset that the amount of new content that came in Overwatch 2 compared to what you could have been playing on Overwatch 1 just a week earlier was less than what, say, someone would get in a new Destiny season or a new Division season for a typical live service game. It was nothing. It was next two new characters, one new map. That's about it. Everything else is actually the same. Then for you to come out now and then you know what? I kind of went off on them on Twitter. And I initially wasn't going to really do that. I was just going to say, well, this is disappointing and move on until I read the interview. So I read the interview they did with GameSpot, and shout out to GameSpot because they were right on it in that interview, asking the hard questions. The Blizzard employees tried to gaslight us. They were attempting to try and make it seem like, yeah, we're not doing the hero mode, but we're still giving you the content that you asked for. And then the GameSpot interviewer was correctly and shout out to him for literally bringing up all of the various things that they promised that this content they're going to actually deliver wasn't going to have. So look, if for those who don't understand, Overwatch 1 had single player story missions too. Like occasionally they will come out with stuff like that. This is nothing new. But like the GameSpot employee was like, so what about new abilities? Is that going to happen? What about skill trees? Like you showed, is that going to happen? No. So it's not what like you're trying to act like you're still delivering on the content, just split up and still a part of what is already there, but not necessarily in its own mode. And that's not it. You're giving watered down versions of what you promised, and that's not good enough. And nor does it justify you making a whole new game over. So you literally, even if the game's free to play, you got people buying these janky, worthless battle passes. They have the worst battle passes in this game, by the way. I mean, the absolute worst battle passes. Like, man, usually on a live service game, when you get to the last item in the battle pass, it's like the most sought after thing that anybody would want in the entire pass. It'll be like, for example, one season of Fortnite, the final item when you hit level 100 was Spider Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody wanted Spider Gwen. So you made sure the either you bought the levels or you grinded your way to level 100 so you could unlock Spider Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that first battle pass when they relaunched Overwatch 1. I'm gonna call it relaunching Overwatch 1 because ain't no daggone Overwatch 2. The final item in the battle pass was an emote. And I'm just like, an emote? Who made this? It's like y'all just decided to just throw some stuff together willy nilly without thinking whatsoever. And I'm sorry, and like I kind of like that irked me, and I went in on them because it's like they deserve to be called out. They deserve to be destroyed in the gaming community and the gaming media for essentially false advertisement. That's what this is. You advertised a new game with this mode being the chief reason why you would need to buy a new game, and then you didn't deliver that. That's false advertisement. If I'm going to get a car, okay, and let's say I'm going to I'm going to get a car, right? Let's say I got a Honda Pilot. I got a 2016 Honda Pilot, and I go into a dealership. I want to trade that in to get the latest Honda Pilot that just came out. And then I'm waiting for you to bring the car around and you bring me a 2018 Honda Pilot. That's not the 2024 Honda Pilot, man. This is barely newer than the one I brought in.
Mm.
But you promised you had a 2024 Honda Pilot. That's that's not the same thing. Like this literally you cannot tell people we're going to oh I mean you can, they did it, but they shouldn't be left off the hook for literally I wish Overwatch community I think is almost as bad as the Destiny community as far as not holding Blizzard accountable for this
Hold now.
foolishness.
Hold on now.
And hey, yeah, Destiny be like Bungie be doing all kinds of foolishness to y'all and y'all just accept it. I think the Overwatch community is almost as bad, if not worse, because this is like this should be low. Like I quit playing your game kind of stuff because this is a bait and switch, and I don't care if like but development's hard and we got some hard times and we're going through an acquisition and we've had a employee attrition and all that stuff that no shade to Jason Schreier, but Jason Schreier had the nerve, the audacity to be trying to let's have a little empathy for Blizzard. Now screw that empathy. Like all their issues and stuff they're dealing with, your internal culture was rife with sexual harassment, racism, prejudice, and sexism. I don't give a crap about your any empathy to you. You deserve zero of that because if you got employee attrition, if you got all kinds of stuff going on where people don't want to work for you anymore, but guess what? It's because of how you treat people. So that's on you. You don't get empathy from me because you had to do work. You were overworked because there was nobody left to do the job because y'all were too busy drinking pregnant women's breast milk out of the break room, and and sexually harassing every woman that walked through the door. That's your fault. You're the one that came up with the Cosby Room. All right. So this is what you reaped. Get over it. And coming up with this nonsense that they tried to come up with to justify that. Nah, I'm sorry. You get zero empathy from me. You get everything you deserve. I hope your game dies and fails now. That's the kind of energy I'm on.
Woo. Yeah, that's some strong energy right there, bro.
Yeah, and I'm just and the audacity of Jason Schreier of all people, to Jason Schreier, who has ran down 343, BioWare, Naughty Dog, gone through so many companies, expose all of their internal struggles, all their struggles with their games, yada yada yada. Zero empathy for them whatsoever. Blew all kinds of people up. Had like disgraced directors having the studio trying to defend them by the way they were portrayed in Jesse Schreier's articles. And for them now, all of a sudden with Blizzard, now you want to have empathy? How are they? Why are they different? Just it makes no sense. I'm sorry.
No, you
I'm off
good.
my I'm off my soapbox now. I'm sorry.
Well, your soapbox is
Actually, I'm
great.
not sorry.
So
I'm
your
not.
soapbox is great. But before I say my part, I just remembered this. I wanted to shout out the super chat from last week, 2 weeks ago that we missed from the homie Ramon Terrell. Cause he put it on Twitter and I just remembered. So I went back to go look at it. He was like, $5 super chat from 2 weeks ago from Ramon Terrell. He was like, oh my God, the all-star homie cast is in here. I'm just jumping in. Shout out to y'all. Yo, yeah, we basically had B Money, Eric Jackson, basically the whole Brap squad minus Enrique was on the show 2 weeks ago, and it was a great show. And we had missed the super chat just due to the fact that it wasn't the normal setup, and I paid attention to other stuff. So definitely wanted to shout that super chat out because I did remember. And if you're still in here, Ramon, we got it. So I appreciate you, and we'll definitely be getting you on the show in the near future, talking about a lot of things that's going on. But outside of what back to what Sloma was saying, you're absolutely right. Like, I haven't really jumped into Overwatch 2 because I felt like there was really no reason for it to be at Overwatch 2. All of the things that they promised and said that they were going to do, I felt like could have just been in the original game. They didn't have to move everything. They could have just did a slight update to the game to do all of these different things. Like when you play Overwatch 2, what does it play like, Slow-Mo? It plays like the first Overwatch.
It plays like, look, you're playing my gameplay of Overwatch. You tell which one is this, Forte? Is this Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I didn't see the name. I just saw his Diva gameplay. Is this 1?
This is 2.
And it looks
you can't tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference
because I'm using Diva, a character from 1, on a map that's also from
1.
In a mode that's also from 1. There's nothing in this gameplay that wasn't there in Overwatch 1.
Yeah, they literally just took everything from 1 and just, like I said, the only things they changed is they changed the amount of players from 6 to 5, and you can only have one tank on the field at a time.
By the way, I was told, because I hadn't played it in a long time, I was told those were a lot of those changes, not all of them, but a lot of those changes were made prior to Overwatch 2 coming out. So it wasn't even like new for people who were already engaged in constantly playing Overwatch.
Oh, so basically the only reason they put a 2 on the end of it is for this PvE mode that ceremoniously never happened.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, why? Like, what is the reason that is not happening? Like, we're not going to act like developers don't take their time.
They didn't explain it. They didn't explain it just like
it made no sense though.
Like we could get the work of the engine or whatever. Like, what's the reason? What's the
Oh,
reason?
so we're
No,
going to cancel the part of the game that you don't get microtransactions off of, but we're going to cancel that part, but we're going to keep the part of the game. That's the thing about developers that really drive me nuts, because they'll put out a busted game, a game that doesn't work the day it comes out, in the name of getting it out the door and we can patch it later. But then when it comes to something that they can't monetize outside of their normal monetization model, oh, we'll cancel this. We'll cancel that.
right,
We'll
right.
cancel. Oh yeah, we can't make no money off of it. Oh yeah, we gonna cancel this, man. There's
It
too many
seems like
man
the
hours put
main.
into this game.
It seems like the main reason, the real main reason why they came out with a Overwatch 2 was they wanted to restructure the game from a pay to play model to a free to play microtransaction battle pass kind of model. And they didn't
Exactly.
know how to, like, cuz I mean honestly, like over the years, you can say that Destiny has, well, your expansions are paid for, but like you've got a you got a battle pass, right?
Yeah, they give you a battle pass every
There's a
season.
battle pass. There's new seasons in that, but that took like, a slow progress, a transitioning of things. The division is the same way. Like I remember you were wondering like what season is the division on? The division, like if you count it from when the game came out, like it doesn't
It doesn't
quite
line
equal up.
up.
It
Yeah,
doesn't line, but that's because they started on seasons after Warlords of New York, which came out like a year and a half after the game first launched. So it's just like, yeah, like games can transition. Live service game can transition into that. They just, but like to charge, like not charge, but shut down the old access to the game, the old way the game was played, and to transition it into a new game, but then market it with a mode that you don't release. There's zero. I've never seen anything like this before. Like, I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
yeah. It makes no sense. But like I said, I'm not as upset about it as probably somebody that was really looking forward to this mode. I just don't like when developers can release. And I don't put this on develop. I can't take it back. I don't want to say developers because this has nothing to do with developers. This has everything to do with the
leadership,
with the leadership above the developers. So it's not
right?
developers, the leadership above the developers that's making these decisions. And I just always have a problem when we can push out a game that doesn't work. Multiplayer's busted, single player has glitches, the game crashes all over the place, but then we can fix it and post and say, oh, well, we need to get this game out so we can fix it. But then when there's something that people want that isn't monetized, we don't and we can't. It's like it's part of the game, but it's a part of the game that we promised, but we really can't do it. But okay, we make money off of this. Well, no, it's mostly a thing that we said we were going to do to basically flesh out the characters inside the game. Oh, but Overwatch has never really been about that, because Overwatch has always been about the hero shooter and the arena style gameplay. So will people really miss this? And they just made the decision for them, took the decision on themselves, which they have the right to do because it is their IP. I just feel like, but from the outside looking in, that's the wrong standpoint that you're taking, because it just comes off as, if we don't monetize it, it doesn't matter to us unless it's part of the core functionality of the game. We if we don't need it, we're not going to have it. And that's not a good precedent to set when it comes to stuff like this. So what's going to happen with the next free to play game that comes out that promises something like this? Is it going to be the same thing? Like they may live up to the expectations of releasing it, but this just starts a precedent that we just don't want to see inside of gaming, especially when it comes to free to play games. Which this game, and that's the funny thing, this game was a paid product. Most people paid for Overwatch when it came out.
Yep. And a lot of people, I just remembered this. A lot of people actually also paid money to play Overwatch 2
Yes, they did.
for early access.
Sure did.
So even though it's quote unquote free to play, it wasn't free to play for a lot of people. that went that route. It's look, man, and my last thought on this, because I saw some people with the mindset when this news came out. Well, if they had new management, hint hint,
Hint, hint.
wink wink, you know, you know, finger guns. If they had new management, things like this wouldn't happen.
No, this still would have happened.
I thought, don't you know they allow these publishers to work independently by
Mm-hmm.
now? Haven't you seen enough evidence of that?
I mean, Phil Spencer came out and
And
said it.
and by the way, how was Redfall? Right.
They didn't pay. They ain't pay
So
enough attention to it.
they didn't pay. So like, what makes you think when you add 9 more studios to the list and a whole nother publisher that they're gonna actually start paying more attention
Right.
than they were paying when they had 24 studios? Like, let's be for real here. It would change nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
Same
Well,
result.
well. Speaking of that, Slumbo, that's a great segue. Let's talk about the other side of the Activision Blizzard scenario, the Xbox side of it. We know the CMA a couple of weeks ago, or probably 3 weeks ago, they blocked the acquisition due to sources around cloud gaming, thinking that that would be the hot point because Microsoft has, well, in their opinion, they feel like they have a leg up inside of that developing emerging market. And the world was falling apart for Xbox fans everywhere, and PlayStation fans were celebrating everywhere because everybody was speaking before everything happened, and now we have the EU.
It's
You
such a roller coaster. Like,
now we have the EU coming
one
out.
thing changes, and one side's all like, "See,
See,
we told you, ha ha, it's over." And then something else happens, and then the other side goes, "See, we told you, ha ha, it's over." And it's just like, can it really be over? Is what how I feel. Can it really
yes.
please be
Can it
over?
really
Because I'm
please be over?
tired of it. Yeah.
It's so tiring. So the EU, European Union has approved the Activision Blizzard King deal. Um, Now the funny thing is they still have the same issues with the deal that the CMA had. The biggest difference is they came to a concession with Microsoft that allows them to still, if as long as you purchase the game, you own the game from Microsoft. So any Activision Blizzard game, you own it.
Real quick, can you switch to Overwatch gameplay? I'm so disgusted after
Oh
talking
yes,
about it. I
yes,
don't
yes,
even
yes,
want to
yes,
look at
yes,
it no
yes,
more.
yes, yes.
So-
You don't want to see this anymore. I got you.
I'm just
I will take care of that right now.
sick to my stomach.
Stick to my stomach. So while that is switching over,
Yeah. No, so yeah, the EU approved on Monday of the ABK deal with some concessions. I think the key concession is that the one thing that the CMA was so hung up on, and the reason why they blocked the deal was for cloud gaming, and the key concession that the EU had made, and apparently Microsoft must have agreed to it because they approved it, was that like any cloud service just automatically gets the ABK games, just automatically.
well,
So
it's not that they get them automatically. It's that if the consumer, like they have access, meaning they don't have to pay any royalties.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
That's what I
so
mean.
so
It's
as
like,
long as the person that owns the license to the game owns the game, like the actual digital copy of the game, they can
yes,
stream that
yeah,
game on
yeah.
anybody's platform, and those people do not have to pay royalties to Microsoft for doing it. They basically get access to it for free.
right. Which it seems to be a compromise that Microsoft was not against, and so that looks like that's all they needed. And as we have seen already, Microsoft seems to be kind of gearing up towards just I feel like probably closing the deal because they made their 10-year contract with GeForce Now, which I think I might give a shout. I'll talk to you about that in a minute.
Okay.
Um but they had their 10-year deal with GeForce Now, and they've already and that deal was for not just the ABK games but Xbox games in general,
Mm-hmm.
and they've already started to make that transition and making those games available on GeForce Now because Gears 5, I think it's Gears 5, is now that was announced is now available on GeForce Now, and I think we'll probably start to see more of those games become available. Uh, that kind of gives me an idea that they may be deciding to just close the deal
I
and
think the
just
same thing.
just deal with the lawsuit because if they close the deal, and look, I ain't no lawyer, so I don't know if this is certainly true or not. This is what I've heard, but if they close the deal, in order for the FTC in the United States to stop it, they would have to make it some kind of injunction thing, which would then just force the case to come to pass sooner than August. um, and that might be what Microsoft wants because they feel like they got a strong case against the FCC. And if they decide to do this, then they probably would just, if cloud gaming is the issue,
They would
then they
just,
just don't offer cloud gaming in the UK. They just
yep.
don't offer cloud gaming for it in the UK, period.
And Sadia
So,
Nadelia came out in that interview and basically said it basically talked about them possibly, didn't say 100%, but possibly saying that we could pull out of the UK.
yeah, which I don't think that's going to
No, I
happen.
don't think so either.
Yeah.
I just think that's the big wig at Microsoft flexing his muscles, basically trying to
Hmm.
say this is what we can do. And by stating that in their interview, it's loud and clear for everybody to hear. But I don't think that's going to happen because they have a lot of invested interests inside of the EU outside of just gaming in general. So I don't think Xbox itself is going to make that major of a shift for them. But
Yes, in the chat they're saying he said, "Let's see how things play out." But you
yeah,
gotta look it's not really what's said, but what's not said. If that makes sense. It's like if that's not a possibility, you just shut it down. But if you say, "Let's see how things play out," you at least want those who are not doing what you want them to do to think it is a possibility. So, I mean, like, yeah, it's like saying it without saying it, so to speak, but whatever. I think that I don't think they're pulling out of the UK. I think
no,
that what's going to happen is just that at the most that they won't do any cloud gaming, especially for ABK games, or maybe not at all for anything Xbox related in the UK. But they'll still sell the game on PlayStation and everything, and Xbox and all that stuff. But um, and yeah, that'll be that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I just need this to be over.
yeah,
Like
I yeah.
people have been talking about like the CMAs getting questioned for their decisions, and they came out with a retort to the EU decision, which I thought was weird. Like I didn't see Brazil making a retort to the CMA decision. I don't think the CMA cares. Or Blizzard, or I said Blizzard, or Brazil cares, or whatever, right? But it's
No,
just
yeah. I just want this
just
to be over
wanted it.
with.
Yes, just
I
make
just
it
wanted to
end.
be over
God.
with, man.
Yeah, and once again, like so many people talk. None of y'all care about these games, man.
No, they don't. They don't. It's a
Like I'm
talking
playing
point.
Diablo 4 day one.
Same.
I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm playing these games and I don't care about this deal. You know what this deal does to me? For me,
What does it do to you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because if it gets blocked and it fails, I'm still playing the games. If it doesn't fail, I mean, if it actually goes through, I'm still
let
playing the games.
let me ask you this, and I'm glad you're saying that. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When it comes, okay, so what is your thoughts on people that say, or just the thoughts on why people want, because it is a game that everybody, it's like, people keep saying, why do you care so much about this? Why are you so invested? It's not like you're getting new games, it's games that you're getting that you already got. It's not like these games are new to your platform. There's no difference. What do you say to the people that are saying that just because it's in Game Pass, that shouldn't be the driving force for you to want these deals? Because I kind of go back and forth with it because it's more of my retail side. Everybody, I don't know why people keep making it seem like they don't want deals. Like I know why, I get why people say this ABK deal, the reason they want it, because it's not that the games are new and they can't get them if they don't get this deal. It's because they don't have to pay for them. They can get them inside the Game Pass. There's inside of their subscription service. I get that because
That makes it an even bigger thing about, do you play these games or not? Because if you don't play the games, then it doesn't matter if it's in Game Pass or
it
not.
doesn't matter, right?
You're not playing the game. It could be in Game Pass. You're still not going
You're
to
still
play it.
not going to play the game.
Right. So it's just like, so what? You know, like, look, for me, if it's in game, look, yeah, of course, if it's in Game Pass, I'm a, and let's say Diablo, let's say for somehow, some way, the deal closes before Diablo 4 comes out.
Are you buying the game or are you playing in Game Pass?
I'm playing it in Game Pass, of course.
Absolutely. As much as I love Diablo, I'm not buying it. I'm playing it in Game Pass. Now I take
But
that. Well, no, because even PC Game Pass will have it at that point. So yeah, you're right. I would just play it in Game Pass
but more than likely, the deal's not going to. There's going to be no resolution to this deal.
before that game comes
Time
out.
Diablo 4 comes out, so I'm buying it
Hit
day
why you
one.
already bought the $100 version so I could play it day one. Well,
Right.
4 days early.
So so I just don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yes.
like, regardless, I'm gonna have the game. Like, I'm not hung up on whether I'm getting it through my Game Pass subscription or not. And frankly, um, I play primarily on PC.
Right.
And even though the Xbox app has improved in the case of like overall performance of the games, but like at one point, the Master Chief Collection is in PC Game Pass. The Master Chief Collection on the Xbox app is by far way worse
It's
than the Steam
atrocious,
version.
basically.
It's terrible. Like, when I was just trying to play the game through that, I was like, on a weekly basis, I would have to uninstall and then reinstall the Master Chief Collection, because I would get this random issue where it would just stop like showing matches. Like, I would be just searching for matches for like 30 minutes and not get anybody in my party. And so I found out it was an issue with the Xbox version, with the Xbox app version, the Microsoft Store version of the Master Chief Collection. Bought the Steam version, never saw a single bug. Now, that's not like universal, because I had the, like Forte knows, I had the Steam version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2,
Yeah.
and it was crashing every other match.
I
And
remember.
I had to get the BattleNet version in order to play the game. But a lot of those issues occur on the Xbox app, and I'm just like, you know, in order to enjoy the game, yes, I just bought it. I spent, what was it, $30 and bought the Master Chief Collection. Like, sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah.
But like, I think that the level of, I honestly feel the level of attention that this has is really more about, really, people, they think there's a or win or a loss here. It's really more about, for the people on the Xbox side, closing the gap between Xbox and PlayStation.
Hmm.
They think that getting Call of Duty will flip in the marketing, will flip the player bases eventually, and then that will result in more people buying Xboxes or more people in the Game Pass ecosystem or whatever. And then this will get things closer to PlayStation and Nintendo than they currently are. Even though I think revenue wise, I think they're actually either on par with Nintendo or they sell more just because their stuff is like the hardware is more expensive, whatever, right? And they do more on the service side of things, but not the point. Um, and I think on the PlayStation side of things is they like ishing on Xbox, and this would be a W for Xbox. So they don't want that. And it's just it really just like that's the underlying root of it all. Like forget what people tell you, forget, I buy my games. I buy your games. So what? I buy my games too. That's not the point.
Right.
The point is you want the green team to lose or you want the green team to win. And vice versa for the blue team. And when I say those colors, y'all know exactly which teams I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really what it comes down to for a lot of the hardcore audience. Is that's why they're so caught up on this deal and what happens with it, and breaking down 200-page documents and listening, to dry is all get out British people discussing, whether they were being, fair in their arguments and whatnot. And I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. Um but with that gaming says sounds like projection. Not everyone cares about the console war. Hey, I don't care about the console war.
Yeah, I think it's just that his
So,
point is just
so it's
mostly,
not projection because that is literally the reason why a lot of people are caring about this.
yeah, he ain't lying about that. I mean, that's like we talk about. Listen, that you can definitely tell the people that talk about it that don't really care about it because like we're talking about it because it's a news item. It happened last week and it happened after our show last week, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But we always say every time an Activision ABK deal thing pops up, we always say, "Man, I just want this thing to be over with. I just want this thing to be over with."
Yeah, please, right? But
Yeah,
but you know what's going to happen because like remember when before the new consoles came out and all everyone would talk about was hardware.
yeah,
Everybody now all of a sudden was like a engineer. Everyone has been building, like hardware or something like that. Everyone knows all the architecture, knows all the terms. Everyone's making all these predictions of what's going to happen and whatnot, and l- listening to the inflections and the words and in the voice of Mark Cerny, and it's just like I remember being like, bro, just release these consoles so people would shut up about this. Stuff about things they don't quite understand, they barely understand, or just understand because they read some documents on the internet. Like, just move on. And then
yeah,
went from that to acquisition season.
yeah,
So that now it's all about, hey, who can get who? Okay, like when this ABK deal is done, whether it's blocked or it's approved, you know the next art, the next everything's who's next.
yeah.
That's the next thing that's going to pop up.
Yeah, player says Phil said that they're not even in the console war anymore. They pivoted like Nintendo. I mean, that's basically them just talking about they want to go their own way. They don't really. I mean, what he's been saying for a while. He's been saying for years that he doesn't look at Nintendo and PlayStation as their competition. Which we all know that's kind of whatever.
That's cat. That's
That's
cat.
that's definitely cap. But we
If they're not your competition, you would put your games on their platform.
yeah.
So that's
Well, I
cat.
think
So
I think
it's
Phil would put his games on those platforms. I just don't know if Sony would want them over there.
okay. So then why did he take Redfall off of PlayStation?
Well, you got me there.
So
You got me
because they're
there.
his competition. Why is Stalker 2 timed exclusive for Xbox?
Why is Final Fantasy 16 time exclusive? Oh shit, it might even be time exclusive. It might be exclusive exclusive.
Yeah, it probably is exclusive, but it's because they're competing. It's like
Yeah.
that's cap. Phil,
Yeah.
that's not real. That they're in competition with one
They're in
another, and they
competition.
know it, and they know it. But it's like them being different. Like I want Xbox, the Xbox ecosystem, and their brand to be different than PlayStation's. But and this might be getting kind of into a discussion that we kind of had a few weeks ago already. But being different doesn't mean that there's a difference between uniqueness and level of quality.
Right.
And I think that even though, and I'm not saying that Xbox has not released published good games, because clearly 2021, like people won't let us forget that 2021 they were, Metacritic Publisher of the Year. Even people who say Metacritic doesn't matter, but it matters now, right? But
Right.
like 2021 Metacritic Publisher of the Year, they have they published games like Pentiment, which I thought was a very good game. Psychonauts 2. They have put Grounded turned out to be pretty good. That people who like survival games like Grounded, they put out some good games. The level, I think what's missing, and I've said this before, and part of my new video is going to be about this, is that there is a upper level
Mm.
of quality that is missing. They kind of scratched that level with Forza Horizon series, but they don't have that can't miss game.
Right.
They don't have that system seller game. And I think Phil, where I disagree with Phil from his kind of funny games interview, is that he believes if Starfield was an 11 out of 10 game, which is you see an 11 out of 10, you're talking about a basically a game that's getting reviews like Tears of the Kingdom right
I'm about to
now.
say that's what Zelda is. 11 out of 10.
Yes, right. He thinks that kind of game would make people sell their PS5, and yeah, they're not going. But like that shouldn't even be your goal. And I
But
think
is
he
Zelda
knows that.
making
That's a
people
bit
sell
of
their
it's a bit hyperbole on his part, because he knows that's not really his goal. His goal is to get people to sell PS5s. His goal is to get people to buy Xboxes, get Game Pass subscriptions, get play their games on PC through do whatever, get on XCloud, all that stuff. Play their games wherever they are, however you want to play them. That's their goal. So it has nothing to do with selling PS5s, and he knows that.
Tears of the
But
Kingdom has to be the worst thing that happened to him when it came to that analogy, because that game by itself is the 11 out of 10,
yeah,
and people are buying. People are like, I have a Switch, I have a PlayStation. I didn't get rid of my PlayStation because Tears of the Kingdom came out. I know people that went out and bought Switches because of Tears of the Kingdom that have PlayStation and Xboxes. I know people that's buying extra like the first game just because they want to see what it was, what all the hype is all about. And it's because one game was so popular and it reviewed so well, it made people say, "Hey, let me try out what this system is."
look,
And they didn't get rid of their
let's
old
not
stuff to
even,
do it.
because there are people who believe that if you took Tears of the Kingdom and you put it on Xbox, it doesn't review like that. There are people who believe that it would not be as highly critically acclaimed as it is if it was an Xbox game.
If
Okay.
is the
What
Lord my whole thing, well, before you say that, is did Xbox do the things for Zelda that Nintendo did for it over 25 years to build it up to be that? That's the question. Like I do agree with people when it comes to like Zelda being the game that it is, but this isn't just because it's Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild didn't review like that because it was Breath of the Wild.
But
It got the
they're also
scores.
applying uneven logic
Yeah.
because Tears of the Kingdom, it's not as if the developer wasn't squeezing the very best they could
Oh, they
out
getting
of that
every bit of the Switch out
exactly.
of it.
So
Every
now,
bit of it.
so if you're gonna say if Tears of the Kingdom was on Xbox, take the same game and the same game design, but instead of it running at
Make it
720p,
1440p 4K. Oh my god.
1440p, 60 frames per second,
Can you
or
imagine?
something similar to that, which is what you would expect on the Xbox Series X or S.
It was like a real it looked like a real cartoon.
Yeah, now take that game with that level of performance for that is measurable for the actual hardware, and yes, that would be a system seller. Take
Yes.
Spider-Man 2018, which was a system seller for PlayStation. That Spider-Man PlayStation was sold out everywhere
Mm-hmm.
in 2018's hot. That's a system seller. You get a licensed superhero, Marvel superhero, with the level of quality that Insomniac put in that game, you're going to get a system seller. Even though the game was an 87 Metacritic game, it was a system seller. That is what we're talking about when there's a different level. You're not getting, yes, you may have a quality Age of Empires 2 or Age of Empires 4. You may have a quality Wasteland 3. It's not Spider-Man. It's not Tears of the Kingdom. It's not God of War Ragnarok. It's like there's a different level. And that different level is high quality system seller game. And that's what they're missing. And so if Starfield, to go back to Phil's comments, if Starfield was an 11 out of 10 game, I disagree with Phil Spencer. I do think that will move units in a significant manner. I do think that console gamers who don't care about playing on PC would buy Xboxes, not sell their PlayStation, but buy Xboxes to play a can't miss game that everybody's talking about. If they had the marketing for Hogwarts Legacy, they would have they probably would have beat PlayStation and NPD
Yeah.
early this year in one of those months.
Yeah, I agree.
Because people were going around buying PS5s just to play Hogwarts Legacy because they thought it was exclusive to
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Hmm.
So look, like I said, we people can look. I know what Phil Spencer meant. For those who be like, man, y'all don't understand what Phil Spencer. I know what he meant. I still disagree. I just don't agree. That's fine. That's fine. We'll see how it all turns out. And I do hope that like that system seller can't miss game. I hope that's in development within the Xbox ecosystem soon. Whether I mean they're getting ABK, and it looks like of course they can't rely on Call of Duty to be that for them because they have to make sure Call of Duty's on everything. But maybe Blizzard could deliver that. But then you see what Blizzard's doing with Overwatch 2, and hopefully Diablo 4 delivered. Like I really enjoyed playing the beta, so I'm thinking it's going to deliver. But like Blizzard's got like some kind of survival game or something like that they're really hyped for that hasn't been announced
I
yet.
yeah.
That it seems like all that kind of content is going to stay within the Xbox ecosystem the way they want it. So
I think
hopefully one of those games are that on that level. Go ahead, man.
you're right about Call of Duty. They can't really depend on that being the seller, even though with it most likely being in Game Pass, it would still help. The thing
Mhm.
the thing I do think Call of Duty does do for them though, it makes those financial reports look a lot better.
Yeah,
A
and it
lot
will
better.
it will start to tip the scale for the Call of Duty community slowly. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
like, yeah, there are people that are so black and white with this, where they're just like, oh, it's going to change everything. No, it's not. Or it's not going to. No one's going to switch to a new console for Call of Duty, which is typically kind of true, especially if you have to keep parity with content and not get all kind of perks that PlayStation currently gets with the marketing deal. But that said, we see how this works with marketing. You only mention if they start showing Call of Duty commercials for new Call of Duty coming out every year or whenever it drops, because there's a chance they might not be annual anymore once they're kind of moving towards this direction anyway, so it may have nothing to do with the acquisition. But all that said, if in 2025 the Call of Duty that comes out has an Xbox logo at the end, there will be people going into Forte's GameStop talking about, I'm buying the Xbox Series X because I gotta play Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's true. And
We
that,
in the hardcore community look at that and be like, ain't no freaking way somebody this is dumb. Ain't no way this is what people are doing. But then every year we see an example of this.
I mean, I had a person
This
that came
year,
into the store and
Hogwarts
traded it.
Legacy.
Had a person come into the store trading the PlayStation 4 just because Microsoft put in the bid for Activision and traded in and bought an Xbox. They said, and their rationalization to it was, well, even if the deal doesn't go through, the game will still be available on Xbox, and
It already was.
it's already over there now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, it is what it is. You know,
it is what it is.
I think you'll start to see the numbers slowly become more even as the years goes on, after, PlayStation no longer has the marketing,
I
no
think,
longer has the
yeah.
perks. There are clearly people, like, we know people. You have Call of Duty on PlayStation because of the fact that you got like extra custom loadout slots. You got you get extra points towards the battle pass, tokens for the battle pass that no one else gets. You get double XP experience quicker,
Oh, I remember
faster
when
than
I told
everyone
you when
else.
I had all that stuff,
Yeah,
you was like, "Yo, why your game got more stuff than me?"
yeah, I was just like, literally, just I had been playing the game all day. Forte just started playing the game, logged in, had more stuff on the battle pass than I did already. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you're playing on PlayStation. Like, see, like, it was just like I had to remember. But it's just, that when those perks are gone, how many people are going to, hey, I'm gonna play it on PC now, or I'm
That's
gonna play it on
true.
Xbox?
I'm just gonna
Like, because
play.
now,
Yeah,
like, there's just no there the perks aren't there for me to play it on PlayStation anymore. So, that's the only reason why I was playing it over here. You know, there gonna be people who do that, but not everybody, clearly. But there gonna be people that do that. They're still like the largest demographic on PlayStation are people who only own a PlayStation. So that's that will remain consistent, and you'll see, people who won't switch over.
yeah,
They don't feel the need to. Hey, it's still on PlayStation. That's all I need to know. But
yeah. You're right, man. So with that, man, I, as always, man, I really appreciate the conversation with you every week, and always look forward to Thursdays with you. It's always a great time. And shout out to the chat, man. 53 people got here throughout the day. And I'm looking at it I'm looking at the chat, and there's one thing that is definitely changed over the course of the last couple of weeks, probably like the last month. Normally, when I look at this chat, I see a lot of blue names in there because we have a lot of mods that are on this channel, people that we trust and that support us immensely. And we gave them that status. And I'm looking at the chat now, and there's like a lot of white names. So there's a lot of new people that came through to support us. And it's not just this show, it's been like this consistently over the course of the last month, between my show, my channel, Slow Mo's channel. We really truly appreciate all the love and support you guys get. Just hanging out with us, blowing up the chat, talking about games, telling us how you feel. It's always been a great time. And I'm definitely blown away by just seeing so many new names in the chat. But with that, I definitely want to get my homie up out of here. You know, he probably want to go play some Call of Duty, or he might want to go to sleep. You know, but
Nah, I'm gonna go to sleep. I gotta get up
yeah.
early. I actually gotta go to a funeral tomorrow for
Oh, okay,
a
got you.
friend of the family
All right.
that has a relative that we all kind of knew passed away. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So with that, I'm gonna give him a second to pull up his channel members. I'm gonna shout mines out, and then we're gonna get up out of here. But for this channel, oh, and speaking of which, shout out to the homeboy, Dragonheart Yobi, no 10 percenter. Shout out to him. I think it says 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. Yep, 6 months as a 10 percenter. Really appreciate you, bro. Really appreciate how you support not just us, you support pretty much a lot of people in the community, and you're just a genuinely good dude. And if anybody else wants to jump up and join the channel, just hit that join button, and you too could become a 10 percenter. And really appreciate all the love and support on that. But with that being said, the rest of the 10 percenters that came through, we got Gregor Von Doom, Texas Lean, True Serum, Big Matt Mo, Ducky, Deflex 27, Dragonheart Yobi, Stardust Acero, Ramon Terrell, Hargi Chani, Brat, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Corey Hale, Erodimus, Slomo Backsleft, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. Really appreciate it, guys. You guys support us in a major way. And for myself, you're already on the channel. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really helps out the channel a lot. Definitely got a lot of stuff going on the channel over the course of the next couple of weeks. We will be live for the PlayStation event on the DPS channel next week. We will have a special guest that we will announce later on this weekend to let people get excited for that. So we'll be
yeah.
live doing that show with me, Slow Mo, and one other special guest.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be coming in late. I actually let me do my channel membership and I'll explain.
Yeah. Go, yep. Go
So
ahead and do your stuff now.
shout out to Arcade 4247, Donnell Brown, Captain Crunch, Neil S, Jeff B Gaming, Percolator 9000, Steve Harlow, East Texas Alice, Franco Tech, excuse me, John E, Dexflex 27, John the Don, Vay Babe, Dragonheart Yobi, Enrique, Hargi Shani, Troop Serm, Arodimus, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Gaming Forte, Corey Hale, Stardust Cicero, and that guy Smitty. So what I was saying is that what we're going to do, and I'm going to put the link to the DPS channel in the chat, and we'll tweet it out to everyone so that everyone knows, and with the link of everything. But essentially, Forte is going to go live on our DPS channel, which is the link I just put in the chat on Wednesday for the PlayStation Showcase. I'll be sure up a little late. Like I gotta pick up my kids, so I'm not gonna be able to be there initially. But we'll have a special guest with Forte, that has been very eager to wrap it up with us and kind of like watch the show and do the live reaction. So I'll be there probably a little late, but I'll be there nonetheless, and we can see how everything turns out. So just come join us next Wednesday. Watch it with us if you like.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, guys, you got anything? Oh, let them know where they can find you.
Oh, Slow Mo Backslap YouTube channel. Is if you guys aren't sub to it, please do. As well as the same name on Twitch, Kick, TikTok, Twitter, and anything that's gaming, basically. If you see that name, that's definitely me. It's no one else. So
Yeah, definitely. And with that, guys, really appreciate you guys. Lakers go down 0-2. Jamal Murray goes for 37-23 in the fourth quarter. Let's go, Nuggets. Y'all have a good weekend, and we will see you guys next week for the episode 134 on Slow Mo's channel. And have a good weekend, guys. Peace.
peace.